What's it? All right, so you're officially welcome to the May 2025 Preseen Analysis class. Can somebody just unmute for a second to let me know if I just want to know if you can hear me? Can somebody please unmute? Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, please keep yourself muted. So you're welcome to today's class. I'm very excited to do this with you. Thank you for choosing Synopsis of Ican Academy. So today we'll be talking about the Defcon Manufacturing Limited. That's the company we're going to be dealing with. And you can see that I have so many tabs open because I'm going to be sharing a lot with you today. Now, this is a preseen analysis and it's a prediction. It's a prediction. So I would try as much as possible to open you up or open your mind to the different possibilities that could be. So we're not just going to be focusing on this material and I'll be discussing some other things with you. So please, if you have a pen, if you have a paper, if you have your own pre-seen material with you, you can just bring it out and be taking notes. Be taking notes. All right, let us start so that we will not waste too much time. So as you can see, this is the recent material that was released to everybody. Please mute yourself. Thank you. This is recent material that was released. So the first thing I want us to talk about is this particular assessment of case study, assessment of case study. So and the reason why I want us to talk about it is because a lot of students don't actually talk read it. Many people just jump to start reading the present the material and all of that. People don't read this, but this is very important. So the first thing I want you to note is that assimilation and use of information is 20%. And use of information, that's one of the mission. One of my missions today is to teach you how to use the information. I've heard from a lot of students that the present information is jargon. Somebody once said that is jargon. Please, it's not jargon. I'll be showing you how you can use it in your report. 20%, and not just how to calculate with ratios. How to even use the theoretical information. Please mute yourself. I won't be able to go back and forth. Please, I beg you, mute yourself. Thank you so much for your cooperation. All right, then structuring problems and solutions is 20%. Now, how you structure your problems and solutions, not just by structuring it in the way of, not just by how, how you how you structure your problems and solutions, 20%, and not just, hold on, I think somebody is muting me. I don't know why it's just muting and going back and forth, but that's fine. Please, let's just focus. All right. So how you structure your problems is also what is also 20%. And structuring we're talking about here is not just the structuring of move from cover page to executive summary to introduction. No, not just that. That is equally important. But even how you write, how you prepare the body of your report. And that's why I always emphasize when I teach students what are the things that I can want to see and how you should arrange them is very important. That's 20%. Applying judgment is also what 20%. Now, judgments like, this company profitability ratios are declining, therefore this company is not profitable. Profitability ratios are increasing, therefore this company. So applying judgment, okay. Now, with this analysis, the conclusion I have is this. With this analysis, I can say that this project has a positive NPV, therefore it should be accepted. Now, that statement alone is 20%. Is 20%. Now, drawing conclusions and making recommendations is 20%. Please do not forget it. Conclusions and recommendations will appear in your executive summary, to appear in your requirements as well. Your requirement one, requirement two, as many requirements as they give you, it will apply to appear there. That's 20%. So if you fail to put it, you have lost 20% of your grade. Now, demonstrating integrative and multidisciplinary skills is 10% as well. That's skills you learn from multiple disciplines. Like now, for instance, MPV is investment appraisal. You can see that under you can see that under SFM. Probably bringing skills from your performance management and the like. So bringing skills from different courses you have learned over your ICANN journey. That's 10%. And finally, presenting appropriate appendices is 10% as well. So and they said appropriate, not the one that is just any kind of appendix, the one that is relevant to that particular case study. So now, with that being said, the second thing I want you to note is this. Now, many students actually ask the question, how do I include ethical issues? What are the ethical issues that are in the reports? What do I know? Now, I can always gives you expo on the ethical issues. They listed it here. Now you can see that they said that 20% of your grade will be under for the executive summary section, and 10% will be for ethical issues. And ethical issues will not be a specific requirement, but it will be tested within a requirement. And you can see that they gave you expo. So you should not even have any issue with ethical issues at all. They gave you expo. They have even listed 5 ethical issues. So look at the company. This company, does it lack, is it professional independence or objectivity problems? Like now, I don't want to put the horse, I mean the cart before the horse. I'm going to reach there. But you can see that we'll see from what we're seeing that Defcon, for instance, is a company that the management are also the part of the bodies of directors. So this kind of company now, we can talk about the issue of independence and objectivity, conflict of interest among stakeholders, doubtful accounting practices. We are saying that this their financial statements, it's like there's manipulation there. And then unethical and unethical business or commercial practice too. So you can check it out. Okay, this company, is there anything that is looking shady, anything that is looking like unethical business practice, something that they are doing that shouldn't be done? You can talk about that. And then inappropriate pressure to achieve a reported result. So it could give you a scenario where they're telling you that the company, because they want to achieve a certain result, they're actually doing so, or they are actually manipulating this particular aspect of their operations. So these are some of the ethical issues that you can look at and you cannot see and put in your report. And it's always going to be in that question paper that they give you. So check it out and then you would be able to know what to do. Now, with that being said, now let's now go to the material that we have today. So now this is the material I prepared. So the first thing I did, what I did was that I combined the pre-seen and the unseen material together. I combined the pre-seen and the, okay, this is the material. I combined the pre-seen and the unseen material together because this is how you would see it in the examination hall. This is how you see it in the examination hall. So the first thing we're going to be looking at now is the list of exhibits. So they gave you 5 exhibits in the pre-seen. The first one is about you. The second one is the Nigerian economy. The third is the Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. And the fourth is the Defcon Manufacturing Limited. And then the final one is Defcon's response to environmental and sustainability concerns. So these were the 5 exhibits that you were presented with. Please mute yourself. Thank you so much. These were the 5 exhibits that you were presented with. So now, in this case now, you can see now from here, even without even reading further or without even going further, you can see now that we are dealing with the what? The Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. The Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. And now you can see that about you, and then they gave us information about DEFCON. And this will help us to know if you are preparing an internal or external report. But before we even do that, let's look at Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1, we're told that what? You are Matthew Idemudia. So any name you have, I'm no more Omodesola from this particular. All right. All right. So this is how it works. Okay. Sorry about that. This is how it works. I think that somebody is trying to mute people that are entering, which I appreciate because I told everybody to mute themselves. But please, why did you stop hearing me? Please stop pressing. Now, I'm sharing my screen now. If I don't know, I believe somebody is doing this. Now, when you type people, when you click on people, you see an icon here, mute. If somebody is unmuted, you see an icon here, mute all. So if you press it, you're going to mute me as well. So please, what you can just tell your colleagues. You can use the chat box instead of pressing that mute all. You can use the chat box to tell somebody, please mute yourself. Because if you're going to try and mute the person by saying mute, or you mute me as well. So please, let's not touch that again. All right. So why did you stop hearing me so that I can just recap and then we'll take it up from there? Somebody can just unmute and just let me know where you stopped hearing me, please. All right, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now, as I was saying, this is the last exhibit. Yes, yes, yes. I can hear you. Oh, okay. All right. I'll reduce the pace. I'll reduce the pace. I'll reduce the pace. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. All right. So now, as we're saying, yes, I'm recording currently. I'm recording it. I'm recording it. Yes. Yes, definitely. The recordings and documents to be available. Thank you. Yes. All right. So as we're saying, I was saying that you have five exhibits. The first one is what's about you. The second one is the Nigerian economy. The third one is the Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. Then you have information about Defcon Manufacturing Limited. And finally, Defcon's response to environmental and sustainability concerns. So I was mentioning now that from this, you know that you are dealing with the Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. You're dealing with the Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. So I was saying now that they gave information. Now we're going to, this is going to help us know if we are going to prepare an internal or external report. But before we even go down, hey God, please don't worry about that. Just keep listening. The recording will be available and everything will be smooth. Please, so because of distractions, thank you so much. But can you hear me clearly now? Because if I'm going back and forth, we'll be distracted. Exactly. I can ask if I, please stop distracting, oh everybody, oh. Hey, yes, I can mute everybody from my end, but yes, yes, yes. Let me explain. Yes, I can mute everybody from my end. Like now, if you see this now, look at this icon, mute all. Person that's muted. I can mute everybody from my end. But people can unmute themselves. There's no control. The limitation of that is that even if I mute everybody, just like I've done, I mute all. I've clicked it now. Mute all. You can see this. People can still unmute themselves, and I cannot control that. That's what I'm saying. Everybody, please keep yourself muted until the end of the class. Please. This is distracting. Please, I beg you. Please, you can help. Somebody can help me post it on the group. Please. Thank you so much. All right, let's go on. Please, I will not attempt to that again. Please, someone can just help me to be talking about it on the group so I will not be distracted. Thank you so much. Now, like I said, you are Matthew Idemudia, an accounting graduate, writing the professional level of Ican examination, and you are employed as a finance and business analyst. Okay, good, you can hear me. As a finance and business analyst. So now, the first thing is what you're employed by Defcon Manufacturing Limited. And now you can see from here that all the information that we're provided with is on Defcon, on Defcon, on Defcon. There's no external party in this particular case. And since we are going to be working on the information of DEFCON and we are working for DEFCON, that shows that this is an internal report. And the only difference between an internal and external report, according to ICANN study pack, is that there will be no disclaimer on the cover page. Now, a lot of people were asking, what about the tone of reports? Can I use things like I, we, our? According to ICANN study pack, if you read ICANN study pack, it said do not use single say, first person pronouns like I, we don't use it. So please just follow instructions. Although they make mention of that under the executive summary, as far as the chap puts it in the pack, just avoid that. So this is an internal report. So now, the first thing is what you are employed as a finance and business analyst. Now, what's that telling us now? That's telling us that as a finance and business analyst, what do they do? They analyze data, they analyze business proposals, they analyze financial performance of a company. So, as a finance and business analyst that you are in this particular case study, you would most likely be provided with information that will relate to you having to analyze the financial statements and analyze what? Analyze a business proposal. And then you are reporting to Tafa Gambari, the company's director of finance. And just like I always explain, that this would be what will appear on your cover page. Now, Matthew de Mudia is not the one that will appear on the cover page. Do you understand? Is Tafa Gambari because although you are the one that prepared it, of course, you are the one writing it, but the person that will take the glory, I used to say that in this case, Martin Demuda is a boy, the person that will take the glory is Tafa Gambari. So on your cover page is Tafa Gambari, prepared by Tafa Gambari, not prepared by Defcon. It's prepared by Tafa Gambari according to Ican study pack. They said the name of your department or the name of your boss. Now let's look at responsibilities. Over time, the ICANN requirements are usually drafted or they give a hint on what they want to test in the responsibilities. And although sometimes most of the things are is the same in every case study exam, like the same responsibilities in November 2024 diet was the same, but then they'll always tweak it in a way, they'll change some things. So we're going to be looking at this now. So the first thing is what? Preparing detailed financial analysis and reports on the performance of your company. Now, many people were very like, what's going on? ICANN did not release the complete Preseen. There's no financial statements. What's happening? Now, I want to show you something quickly because I always tell you that in ICANN case study, there's always a pattern to everything. So I'm just going to quickly refer. I'm not reading anything. It's just one thing I'm going to say. Using May 2019 data so that you would know, because many people were saying that would there be financial statement. Now, if you look at May 2020, 2019 data, it was on Toy Farms and Farm Products. And this company was also a private company. But in this case, it was an external report. But guess what? They gave them financial statements. So you can see here, they gave them financial statements, but it was what? Management accounts, because this is a private company just like Defcon. So if you are thinking that, thank God, oh, I've escaped, no financial statements in this diet. It's a lie. They'll give you. So get prepared. Get prepared. Okay. All right. So now, analyzing companies' financial statements to identify areas of weakness and preferring likely solutions to correct anomalies. So now, what's this telling us now? In this case, now, how you identify areas of weakness and how you prefer solutions to correct anomalies is by what? Is by assessing the information, most times using ratios. Now, if you check the pattern of ICANN questions, you will see that when they tell you to identify areas of weakness and preferring likely solutions to correct anomalies, they would tell you to use things like ratios and trends to assess the company, because ratios and trends will help us to know, is this company weak? Is this company strong? And ratios and trend will also help us to know, okay, the reason why revenue is declining is because of so. You understand? Therefore, the company should adopt so technique to avoid this issue in future. Something like that. So now they will tell you to prepare for that kind of information. A financial statement where they'll ask you to what? Most likely use ratios and trends to analyze it. Now, next one is what? Assessing operational and strategic business proposals to see how it aligns with the strategic objectives and impact on business and financial risk. So now what is this talking about now? This is basically saying that they will give you they will present you with a case that is a proposal that covers their operations or their strategic strategic aspect of the company. Now, operational analysis is analysis of the day-to-day issues in the company. Strategic, on the other hand, is analysis of the long-term issues in the company. So they can tell you now that, oh, this particular issue we are facing and it's affecting our day-to-day operations advice. Oh, this particular issue we are facing it and it's going to affect our long-term operations. Now, example of that is operational issues could be things relating to issues affecting the customers, things relating to a limiting factor, things relating to, or strategic could be things relating to MPV, things relating to things like that. So expect something like that. Now, moving on, they also said that what? Assessing the company's financial and business forecast together with assumptions upon which they are based to form judgments, conclusions, and recommendations. And you can see from what we read earlier that 20% of your grade is for conclusions and recommendations. How you form judgment, this thing like this is 20%. So please ensure you don't forget conclusions and recommendations. It's very important. It will appear under the executive summary and to appear in the body of your report. You will see it in the report shortly. Now, if you have any question, if you want to say anything, because I can see calls coming in, please just note it down. There'll be time for question and answer. Thank you so much. Now, moving on, analyzing the company's internal and external business environment and advising the board on the strengths and weakness compared to opportunities and threats prevalent in the environment. Now, this is telling us now This is pointing towards SWOT analysis, because SWOT analysis is used to assess the internal and the external environment of a company. So this is telling us that we may actually have something relating to what? Relating to SWOT analysis, relating to SWOT analysis. So get ready and prepare yourself for something relating to that, because now in these requirements now, they emphasized and said it that what you will assess the internal and external environment of the company, and you will check strength, which is S, weakness, which is W, opportunity, which is O, and threat, which is the T. So prepare yourself for SWOT analysis in this case. And they also talked about advising the board and management on sustainability issues and assisting in the preparation of the company's annual sustainability report. So in this case now, they may give you a situation that, oh, this company has this issue relating to sustainability. Advise us. Should we go this way? Should we go that way? We're going to read more on sustainability as we go further. So they can tell you to advise the company on something relating to what's relating to sustainability, and then drafting reports for your boss on operational and strategic business analysis. So you're going to prepare a report. Now I want to say something quickly before we leave here. While these things are indicators of possible requirements that we may find, they might not test everything. Oh, so don't overstress yourself that, let me go and read in sustainability, let me go and read MP, let me go and read it. Over time, sometimes they put things here, but they'll not test it. Like the particular diet, there was a particular diet that they talked about stacks, but they didn't even test anything tax at all in the unseen. So, but this is an indicator of what to expect. Go and check 5 diets. Just take it on yourself and check. This is the key point to unseen. Now, while many students say unseen, you don't know. If you read your Preseen very well, you always have an insight. You will never be 100% surprised. Fine, you can never be 100% prepared, but you also not be 100% surprised. It always gives a hint. So this is most likely the things that these are the indicators of things that you should expect. And he also said that what you keep yourself abreast with accounting and tax space, both nationally and internationally. Please don't go and be reading US GAAP. There's no need for all that. They're just telling you this is something that they put in every diet. They're just saying that you should be aware and be fully prepared for anything accounting. Now, moving on, the exhibit 2. Like I said, I know that you have had this thing for over a week, and I know some people have digested it in so many ways. But what I will say is that in this particular class, what I'm going to be doing is bringing out the things you can use in your reports. Remember what we read earlier? 20% of your grade is for assimilation and using information. So the mission I have today is what? Telling you, it's not coming here to read it to you. You can sit in your house and read it. That's not the essence of this. The essence is to tell you, okay, how can you grab that 20% as much as possible and prepare a solid and professional report. So follow me closely. Don't say, I've read this thing now. No, let's go to unseen. Follow me closely, please. One development since 2023. Now, one thing I want you to also, the first thing I want you to notice, this year 2023, they kept mentioning 2023, 2023, 2023. Now, there's something about this year. And they said that what? That since the national elections, that there has been challenges, like the economy has been challenging. So if you have a financial statement and then they give you maybe 2022, 2023, and 2024, and you are seeing that 2023, there is like maybe the company is not doing as well as it was doing in 2022. You can this obviously they've told you before that there were challenges in the industry, I mean the economy. So you can say, okay, the reason why profit is declining, the reason why revenue is declining in 2023 is because of the challenging economic situation in Nigeria. So this is something you can see. Now, the challenges in turn have adversely affected the company's socio-economic landscape, has affected the company's socio-economic landscape. You understand? It has affected the company's socio-economic landscape. You understand? So this is, and they also said that was a macroeconomic performance. However, the new government has continued to implement various economic reforms, such as flotation of naira, removal of subsidy to address economic challenge and optimize the country's potential and attain crucial developmental objectives. So what it's telling us now is that although there have been challenges, the government has not just been crossing their hand and then what concern us, no. They have been what? Putting in, they have been trying to implement some reforms to actually what? Tackle these challenges. Now, the second thing I want you to note is this. They said that what? These reforms have temporarily constrained the performance of the real sector. Now, the real sector is the manufacturing. We saw from the exhibit that the company we're dealing with is a manufacturing company, Defcon Manufacturing Limited. So that's telling us that it's a company that is into manufacturing. Now they're telling us now that and manufacturing company is part of the real sector. So we can say here that reforms have constrained the performance of the real sector. So this is telling us something about a possible question on something constrained, and that's like a possible question on limiting factor. It's possible. I remember that from the responsibilities, we read that they will ask you to assess operational and strategic business proposals. And now that is telling us that operational analysis is limiting factor is under operational analysis. So it's very possible that they can tell you that, oh, there's a constraint in the company and help us to what advise us on how we can maximize profits by considering this constraint, something like that. And then he told us that what the overall this has suppressed the economic outcomes, and Russia and Ukraine, the issues too have also what caused economic vulnerability throughout the year. And now they also said that what the hikes in global policy rates in 2023. Now, can you see again? They are emphasizing that year, 2023. They're emphasizing that year, 2023. And at the hikes in the policy rate also what has consequential impacts on investment and productivity in Nigeria. So if you are seeing that Defcon Manufacturing Limited in 2023, they're not doing well, then you can tell them, okay, the reason why they're not doing well is because of the hike in policy rates that has affected investment and productivity. The reason why they're not doing well is because of the economic challenges. So these are points that you can use to build your reports. Please let it not be heard that you attended Philosophy of Ican Academy and you prepared reports that even a primary two students be like, auntie, wetin read this, uncle, wetin read this. So these are things that you can use to prepare a solid and professional report. All right. Now the next thing I want you to know, like I said, I'm not here to read. You can read it on your own. I'm pointing out points that you can use towards to ace and impress that examiner that is marking your script. Now, as a result of the above, Nigeria's economic growth has been fragile in 2023 emphasis again in that same year. And this has what as and by escalating inflationary pressures, exchange rate depreciation, and fiscal constraints. So you can see now that what they are telling us now that there's a lot of constraints, there's a lot of issues in the company. Inflation, exchange rate depreciation, some fiscal constraints. Fiscal policies are policies of revenue and expense of government. So they're emphasizing 2023 again, and then they're saying again it has hindered productivity and curtailed performance. So they're telling you now that productivity is hindered. There's a constraint. They're emphasizing it. Well, let's keep going on. Now, though Nigeria has the potential to enhance local food and livestock production, the company still relies on imported goods. So now there's an issue of importation. And then these goods are to fulfill the domestic demand. But insecurity and terrorism activities have affected farming. Now, you'll be wondering, now they talked about farming, agriculture. What concerns Pampers company, the Diaper company with agriculture? Now, what concerns them with agriculture is that things like cotton, things like rubber, things like pulp, and all those things that they use to make the diapers and pads, they are agricultural products. So yes, the agricultural sector affects our productivity because we are getting raw materials from them. So look at this very well. It concerns DEFCON. Now, in this case, now by telling us now that insecurity and terrorist activities have affected farming, so that shows that if we are saying that agricultural sector are the providers, the people in agricultural sector are the providers of our raw materials which we are using to produce. That is, if they're having problem, that shows that our raw material is going to probably have issues. And that's also telling us something relating to a possible situation of a raw material constraint because now the providers are having issues due to insecurity and terrorism. Now, dependence has not only constrained the foreign exchange, but also escalated imported inflation. And then they would also say that the inflation has been expected to average 20.4%. So they can see that there's inflation. So if they're saying that the agricultural sector has inflation, now think of this: the agricultural sector is our providers, the providers of our raw material. So if they are going to definitely have high inflation, then of course they will definitely increase the prices of their goods. And if they increase the prices of their goods, that means what? That means our raw materials would most likely be high. The cost of our raw materials be high. So that's telling us now that cost of production most likely would also be high. So that's giving us an idea. So if you are seeing that cost of production is increasing, why is it increasing? Of course, it's increasing because the suppliers of the raw materials are experiencing inflation. Now, moving on, they said that what as a result of supply chain distribution, now there's supply chain distribution and disruptions rather. There's like disruption, there's problem with supply chain. Supply chain is the chain of it's just talking about how goods move from the producers or the manufacturers to the final consumer. So there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of problems and challenges. And then there's inflation. They also told us that the government policy that they're saying that they want to use to do the company, the economy good, is also causing problems because now they remove subsidies. And then this has what direct effect. Please mute yourself. Thank you so much. Please mute yourself. This has direct effect on fuel and transportation costs, and which has what increased food and non-food prices. So now, I don't even see now that what that petrol subsidies has affected fuel and transport costs. And a company like Defcon, that we have seen that Defcon Manufacturing, a company that manufactures, will definitely need to try. I mean, when we manufacture, is it us that wear all the pampers? I mean, is it inside the factory that wear all the sanitary pad? No, now we have to distribute it to our consumers, right? I think they're telling us now that what there is an issue of fuel and transport costs, and this has also increased food and non-food price. Now, non-food price, of course, non-food. Can you eat pampers? No. Can you eat? Can you eat diaper? No. So you understand? So in this case, now that means what even diaper companies too, they have also experienced this. And if we are saying that transport and fuel costs have been increased, then most likely it's going to affect us. And it's going to affect, so if you are seeing something like selling and distribution costs, selling and distribution expenses is increasing, of course, you can say, okay, the increase of selling and distribution expense from 5% to 10% is as a result of what? The increase in fuel and transportation costs. So this is how you can use this information. Hope you are getting what I'm doing. Don't say I've read this thing before. It's not my concern. This is how you can get that 20% and put it very well. Now, in conjunction with global energy prices, the removal of fuel subsidies has increased production expense. So we can see now again that production expense are emphasizing the production expenses have been increased. And then, especially companies that rely on petrol, of course, a company that is like manufacturing would definitely need some machines and equipment, and you know the situation of lights in Nigeria now. So definitely, they will definitely need petrol. So yes, so companies that rely on petrol, that's actually affected their production expense. And that means what a company like Defcon would also be by this. Affected by this. Please, please, there'll be time for questions and answers. Actually, you can just note it down. It's still fast like this. Okay, no problem. I'll reduce it a little. All right, no problem. All right, but hope you got all what I've said so far, Sha. Hope you got it, Sha. All right, all right. I'll reduce the pace. All right, no problem. All right, now moving on at a reduced pace. Or is affecting you too. Okay, all right, no problem. I'll work on that. Thank you so much for letting me know. All right, moving on. All right, no problem. You can mute yourselves now. I've gotten the feedback and I'll work on that. Thank you so much for the feedback. So, moving on, in prior periods, now they told us that the expansion of CBN's ways and means mechanisms contributed to inflation by enlarging the money supply, therefore intensifying pressure on the naira's value and eroding the purchasing power of the populace. Now, what's this telling us now? That was the purchasing power is saying the ability of people to purchase, the power. You know, you have power to purchase, and what gives you power to purchase? Is when you have money now. I mean, if you don't have money, you don't have power. You don't have any power now. So now they're telling us now that people have what? That there is what? There is erosion of purchasing power. That means people don't have money. You understand? People don't have money. You understand? And if they don't have money to purchase, how would they now buy pampers? How would they buy pads? So this is also telling us that if we are seeing, or if you have a situation that a company like Defcon is having a decline in revenue, a decline in profits, What you can say now in that case is that the decline in revenue or the decline in profits is as a result of what? The poor or the reduced purchasing power of the populace, because people are no more buying again. It's when they have money they are buying. So the reason why we don't have revenue, or the reason why we don't have profits as before, is because people are not buying again due to lack of purchasing power caused by inflation. Caused by inflation. All right. So let's move on. I'm trying to reduce the pace. Challenges in the economy. Now, the first thing they mentioned is unemployment. Now, everybody knows unemployment has been one of the most pressing issues, and it remains high. Like, there's a lot of unemployment in the country. This has affected the company, affected, in fact, has contributed to instability, it has contributed to social unrest, it has affected a lot. And then they say something here, that government has the has made efforts to create jobs. So it's possible that they can give us a scenario that, oh, Defcon wants to open up a plant or open up a factory and they want to employ people. You understand? So it's possible they can give us something like that. Then the second one is what? Inflation. Inflation is also another challenge that has been faced. And we can see now that they're also saying that this has put a strain on household budgets. That means that people don't, let's say before, for Pampers, they are budgeting 40,000 for Pampers per month. But now, because there's no money, it is let's say that 40,000 can buy you 4 packs before. Now, even to buy one, say, na problem with 40,000. So it has put a strain on household budget. So if you are seeing something like revenue is declining, profits is declining, that's something you can say that, okay, the decline in revenue or the decline in profits is as a result of what? The strained household budgets. People are not buying, just like they said, purchasing power. There's no more purchasing power again. And if people don't buy, revenue will definitely decline. Is it the person that has not eaten that will be thinking of Pampers? Then exchange rate volatility. That's another challenge you also mentioned. Now, while inflation has been on the rise, eroding the purchasing power of Nigerians and making it difficult, that's what eroded the purchasing power. Now they're emphasizing again that inflation has been a problem. Reducing, like I said, purchasing power is what? Your power to purchase, your ability to purchase. And what's that? Purchasing power is just saying, do you have money to buy goods? Now they're saying now that people don't have money like before. And now this is also making is making it difficult for businesses to plan, and also making it difficult for them to invest, because now, because they don't know if before, let's say before, we are producing 50 cartons and we know that definitely before the end of the month people will have bought it, but now we don't even know if people will come, if people will not come. How can we now plan our production? So it has really cost a lot. Then infrastructure too has been a problem. And you can see that they also mentioned here that decades of underinvestment has left the country with poor road networks. So there's poor road network, inadequate power supply. And now, if they are saying now that there's inadequate power supply, poor road networks, and limited access to clean water, now a company like Defcon will definitely need good roads, because they are distributing these goods. Like I said, we are producing the good in our factory. Is it the workers that wear all the bumpers and all the pad? No, now they will have to take it to the consumers. So in this case now, poor road networks. So if they are saying poor road networks, that could affect our distribution expenses. That could affect our distribution expenses. Now, inadequate power supply. As a manufacturing company, we definitely need equipment, and our equipment would most times need electricity. And if we are saying that there's inadequate power supply, that means what? We have to rely on fuel. And just like we read earlier, if we are relying on fuel, then our production expense will most likely increase, because the fuel prices have been increased because of removal of fuel subsidy. Removal of fuel subsidy. All right, just to get a feedback again, is just somebody can unmute and just quickly say in just a second. is this space okay or am I still too fast? Because the most important thing is getting this. It's not about finishing this. It's for you to get what I'm saying. Is it okay now? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. It's okay. Good. Please mute yourself. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because I want you to get all what I'm saying. So hope you are getting what I'm saying. Because I know that people are I beg, move to the unseen, move to the unseen. Let's get what I'm saying. But I want you to get that 20% as much as possible. So I'm trying to show you what you can use. So and now remember that we saw in our requirements that they may test something relating to SWOT. So these are things that you can use to explain your SWOT analysis. But don't worry, in the material I prepared, I gave a lot of points on it. So I'll share it with you for you to study. So don't worry, let's just read it and understand what they are saying. Now, opportunities. Now they said something here. So I gave a note here that people may be saying that how does agriculture affect DEFCON? Things like cotton, things like rubber, and some other raw materials are agricultural products, and from agricultural, they get it from agricultural sector, you understand? So now they're saying now that agricultural sector has shown resilience. Now we saw from when we were talking about the economy, that's what there's a lot of challenges, like there's if insecurity, terrorism, and this has affected the agricultural sector. But now they're saying that despite all those challenges, you understand? They have shown resilience, that they have stood strong. They have shown resilience. And I think that there's an increase in agri businesses and modern techniques, which is expected to improve food security and boost economic growth. So let's take it the other way. So if you are seeing the other way now, you are seeing something like, oh, rather than the first one we saw was if cost is increasing, we can say the reason why cost of sales is increasing is because of the insecurities. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Because of the insecurities and then the terrorism attacks on agricultural sector, who is the primary source of our raw materials or something like that. That's the first one. On the other hand, let's say you calculated now and you're saying that cost is declining. You can say, oh, the reason why cost is declining is because of what? Is because of the developments in the agricultural sector, which has improved food security. And then, of course, if the agricultural sector are developing, they will produce more. And of course, the law of supply and demand. If there's so much supply in the economy, understand? If people have a lot, they have a lot to sell. It will actually most likely reduce the cost of production and also be something that can affect us positively. Then moving on, the industrial development. They also said that there's a lot of development in the industry, that startups are emerging. In fact, they talked about fintechs, they talked about e-commerce, digital services, and the likes. Now, what is this telling us? How does this apply to DEFCON? So if you are seeing something like selling and distribution service or selling and distribution expense has increased, that the fact that okay, they have to look for how to sell. Like now, selling and distribution expense is not only about moving from one place to the other. I don't know, when we were young, then they don't do it anymore like that. You see companies like Indomie, companies like Milo, they'll be dancing on the road trying to advertise their products. Now that's a selling expense. So now, if you are seeing that selling and distribution expense is increasing, you can advise the company that DEFCON, instead of doing physical advertising, you can resort to digital advertising, e-commerce, selling online. You understand? Like now, if you're watching YouTube, if you're watching the free version of YouTube, before you even watch one video completely, you may see like 17 adverts. So you can tell them that to reduce selling and distribution expenses, the company should resort to what? To resort to digital advertising. Digital advertising. All right. So now moving on, they talked about energy. Like I said, all these things can be used to what? All these things can be used um to explain your SWOT analysis. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Can be used to explain your SWOT analysis. And I said I've already prepared it in the material. But apart from that, I want you to also see how you can also what? How you can also use this thing to get that 20%. So now energy. Now they're talking about with abundant supply and wind resources. investing in solar and wind energy can boost power generation. And they made mention of the fact that companies that depend on fuel, they actually most likely would have high costs because of what the increase in fuel prices due to removal of subsidies. So in this case now, you can tell if you are saying that things like administrative expenses is increasing. You can say, oh, Defcon resorts to um, the sunlight and wind resources or solar and wind energy. This will reduce the cost of electricity, thereby reducing administrative expenses. So this is how you can also use this information. Now, finally, they mentioned what mining and solid minerals. So the Nigeria has untapped mining resources. Developing the mining sector can contribute to economic diversification. So mining, things that they come from the things that solid minerals and all of that. So these are some opportunities that can help you to what explain the SWOT analysis. Like I said, we're going to look at that in the material. I just wanted to point out the things that you can use. Now, moving on, talking about the business environment. Now they said that what there are many government policies that affect the manufacturing industry. Now, please take note. Like I said, I know you have read this thing. I'm pointing out things you can use to prepare your report. Now, many policies have affected the manufacturing industry, including diaper and sanitary pads. So DEFCON did not escape, they are also affected. And now things like import tariffs, tax incentives and regulations impact production and distribution. So if you are saying that cost of sales is increasing, there's a lot of issues relating to profitability, of course they will definitely have it because these policies of import tariffs, tax incentives, regulations it will definitely affect DEFCON. In addition, government regulations regarding environmental pollution, emissions and waste are becoming stricter and emphasis on sustainable and eco-friendly products. So it's possible that they can give you a situation that they will tell you that okay, the DEFCON wants to produce or wants to do something relating to sustainability. Remember from the responsibilities that they mentioned that what you advise on their sustainability practices. So they can tell you that advise the company this is the issue, or they can even give you a press release or an information that from government stating that they are not or from the public stating that they are not adhering to environmental protection, and they'll tell you that advice and all. So it's possible that they can tell you that like that. You understand? Because now government is now becoming very, very strict with it. Therefore, manufacturers are increasingly adopting eco-friendly practices and materials. So what is this telling? Like I told you, if you read your Preseen very well, Preseen analysis, people that do Preseen analysis, they're not magicians. If you read your Preseen very well, you'll be able to see pointers on what to expect in the unseen. So now, they're telling us now that manufacturers, and of course, Defcon is a manufacturer, right? They are adopting environmentally friendly practices and materials. So they could create a scenario that, Defcon wants to switch its production techniques to an eco-friendly or a sustainable practice, and or they want to introduce a product that would use raw materials that are eco-friendly. Advice, evaluate this proposal. They can tell you use MPV to evaluate it. Should they do this friendly practice? Should they use this material and the likes? So it's very, very important that you take note of that. Now, manufacturers are also required to comply with laws and regulations. So they could give you a press release or a situation that they will say, company is not complying, like that. There was was it May 2024, Spicy Confectionery Limited, I think. They were telling them that they have a dirty facility where they are manufacturing their confectionery, that's their chocolate and the likes. So the government, they sent I think it was NAFDAC, yes. I think it was NAFDAC that sent them an information concerning that. So it's possible that, and regulations like, let's say, the Standard Organization of Nigeria and the likes, now they could probably send a press release to DEFCON and they'll tell you to advise them. Now, I want to say something quickly. In May 2024 diet, where they did something like this, where they gave a press release concerning the dirty factory and concerning they were using a particular ingredient that was harming the people. So they did not put it in any requirements. Like they did not say anything like Oh, requirement two, evaluate the business proposal and comment on the press release. They didn't put it anywhere. But when you check the marking guide, the it was the marks were awarded. If you check through the marking guide in Pathfinder, marks were awarded for commenting on it. So if they gave you press release like that and they didn't tell you under any requirements, just look for somewhere to put it. You can just maybe put it under requirements two or put just look for somewhere sharp in body of the report to, even if it's just one sentence, that can give you just one mark. 49 and 50, they are two different things, so please. So just try to, that's what I'm saying. 20% is for using information. So don't say, they release press release now, but they did not say it under any requirement. I beg, it's useless. Marks are awarded for it, please. All right, moving on. The political landscape has been relatively stable. You understand? Moving from one government to the other. And then there's growth in population. So now if they're telling us now that there's growth in population, that shows that there's a market for Defcon. There's a market for Defcon because people will definitely buy their products. Now, this is where I want you to, if I want you to chew this particular place like you're chewing gum, because this is where the real deal is. If the summary of everything we're reading is in this particular place, so please, now they said what erosion of consumer purchasing power results in low demand. Of course, if you are saying that revenue is declining, profit is declining, definitely you can use this to explain. Or the reason for revenue declining or profit declining is because of what consumer purchasing power, which has resulted in low demand. This is what you can see. High cost of manufacturing inputs. Like I said, this is the summary of all what I've been reading before. So you can say that high exchange rate, as if you're saying that cost of sales is increasing, you can say cost of sales increase due to what high exchange rate that what led to what the high cost of manufacturing inputs. Interest rate has gone up. So on the statement of profit or loss, if you are seeing that finance cost is increasing, of course you can say, the reason is because of this. This is a point you can use. The reason is because of the high interest rates that has led to low investment. Now, removal of fuel subsidy leading to high inflation and further reduction in demand. We have seen this before. So this is what you can say that, the reason why revenue is declining is because of what? Of high inflation. Now, from this, all these things that they're telling us now is giving us an indication that most likely the financial statements they will give us will be something that will be bad. Like the company most likely will be experiencing challenges because there is so much challenge in the economy. So it's not going to be revenue is increasing, pa 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 pa. Profit is increasing, everything is just doing well, doing well, doing well. But as to say there's challenges. Well, if that's the case, then what you can say in that case is that now let's look at this now. Let me show you something now. They said something here that the high interest rates, let's just use this one, high exchange rates that has caused high cost of manufacturing input. Now, how can you use this? So let's say paraventure, when you calculate it, you are saying that it's low cost. But it's high, they're saying here. What do you now say? Now say the cost of sales declined from 5% to 3%, despite the high exchange rates that resulted in high cost. Full stop. This shows that Defcon is what? Is adopting proper cost management strategy. So if it's a reverse is the case, instead of high is low, you can say, despite this, they're doing well. Despite this, you understand? So I'm just trying to let you know how you can. So don't say, high, is useless. It's not useless. You can tweak it in such a way that you can use it. Yeah, if you want to say something that is, you can just like wait, would have time for discussion, or is it that you cannot hear me anymore or something? Can you people hear me? Somebody just spoke now, or is it just a distraction? Please just mute us. All right, please just don't. What do you say? I'm too. All right, all right. Let me just let me recap that now. Let me recap that. All right, no problem. So I was saying now that you know that all these things now, they are saying all these things are challenges. Yes, that's the word. All these things are challenges. Like now, poor purchasing power, low demand, high cost, they are problems, they are problems. So let's say the financial statement they give you is showing instead of high costs, like now for instance now, high cost of manufacturing inputs, is showing low cost, like cost of sales is declining. Now, this information is not useless because you're like, because in this case now, they're talking about high cost. But when we calculated our trend analysis, we are seeing that cost of sales is declining, it's not high, it's low. So what you can do is that you can tweak it. You can say that the cost of sales. So let's say that the cost of sales for year one was 3%, and the cost of sales for year two was 2%. So now this is showing that what there's a decline. This is showing that there's a decline. So now you can say that what the cost of sales declined from 3% in year one to 2% in year two, despite the high exchange rate resulting in high cost of raw material manufacturing input. So you can now let's adjust that so it can be simpler. You can say despite the high exchange rate that led to high cost of manufacturing inputs in the economy or in the industry, Defcon was able to manage its costs effectively, which led to what a reduction in cost from 3% in year one to 2% in year two. So what you are saying is that Defcon, I hear you people, everybody is saying high cost of sale. You people, you are reducing your cost instead of everybody is experiencing problem. You are experiencing growth. Defcon, that means what? I give you hand, oh, you did what? You manage your costs well. You understand? So you can see that. So in this case now, you can see that this one now, you can see that low demand, right? And low demand is definitely supposed to reduce revenue. It's supposed to cause a decline in revenue because if people are not buying, then which money are you going to collect? There's no revenue now. But let's say, for instance, you calculated and then you are seeing that revenue is actually increasing. So you can say that, oh, you can also say it again, that despite the erosion of consumer purchasing power that led to general low demand for manufactured products in the industry, Defcon has been able to what? Improve its revenue or has been able to grow its revenue by 10% in year one to 15% in year two. This shows, and think of it, this shows that it could be that, and what could be the cause of that? It could be that maybe they are giving discount sales, it could be that maybe they are selling more, it could be that maybe they, as market leader, because we'll see now that the market leader, maybe their products are doing well. So think of it. So I'm just saying that this information is, you can, even if it's not going the way it should be, you can tweak it in a way that would work. Yeah, I hope that's clear. All right, so moving on, they talked about insecurity too. So they said that what? That because of the terrorist attacks, like I said, this is a summary of everything we have done. So even if you cannot have time to read all the information in the exam, this one, look at it here. Please highlight it. The business environment challenges. Get points from there. It's a summary of everything. We've seen insecurity before. So they said that what? There's a drop in production of food items, worsening the what? Worsening inflation. And like we said, that in the agricultural sector, which is the sector where they produce food, we need things like cotton, we need things like rubber and the likes to produce pampers and pads. But now they're saying now that insecurity has reduced production. And of course, let's even look at it logically. You own a business. Let's say before you are producing 10 cotton, and I say, I'm producing 10, let me sell for 1,000 naira. But now, because of insecurity, in fact, you manage you manage to produce three. You wouldn't want to sell for 1,000 because the suffer that you got to even get out that three. You will not want to produce for 1,000 again and sell for 1,000 again. You may increase your price to what? To maybe 4,000 per one. Understand? And that's the reason why we have prices inflation or inflation in Nigeria today. If the rice that you buy today, just today or this morning, if you go in the evening, the one can tell you that 10,000 naira has added to the money. You understand? So you can say that this, because of this now, this has affected their cost of sales. So if you are saying that cost of sales is increasing, you can say cost of sales is increasing due to what? The drop in food items that has caused inflation, thereby what? Affecting the prices of our raw materials such as cotton, such as rubber. So you're saying now, in sum, what you're saying now is that the reduction in production has led to inflation, and that inflation has increased our cost of production. And if it's the other way, like I said, let's say cost of production is reducing, you can say despite the drop in food items that increase inflation, the cost of production or cost of sales has reduced, which implies that Defcon is using proper or efficient cost management strategies. And then they made mention of unemployment rates and erosion of purchasing power caused by inflation. So we have talked about this before. So if you are seeing that revenue is declining, of course, people don't have money. Is it not the person that is employed that will think of pampers? Nah. Is it not the person that has money that will think of buying things? So you can think of that if revenue is declining, this is as a result of the what the poor purchasing power and high unemployment rate. Now moving on, inadequate energy supply. So they told us that there is no energy, like we mentioned, like we read earlier. And now, in fact, there's high cost of diesel, high cost of power generators, and this has what led to, in fact, it has been so bad to the extent that some companies had to wind up, like they had to close down their company and go from one country to another. We can't count how many companies are. You just see that you cannot find their products in Nigeria again. And what happened to this company? You cannot see it again. They have packed their load and they have jackpot. They have jackpot because they cannot contain all these issues again. You understand? And then there's what? Deficit in infrastructure. They made mention of the fact that roads are so bad, transporting goods, and of course, we emphasize that it's not our workers that wear our pampers. We need to transport goods from one place to the other. So if you are seeing that selling and distribution expenses is increasing, you can say, okay, selling and distribution expenses increased due to what? The deficit in infrastructure, or which has what? Which has led to high transportation costs, which has led to high transportation costs. So, and that has what? That has increased our distribution costs. Because if transport cost is high, definitely distribution costs will be high. And if distribution cost is high, profits most likely will be affected. So if DEFCON is experiencing profitability issues, these are things that you can also use to back up your point. I hope with what I've said so far, you will write a report that even you will be like, I'm a professional. Say, I'm a professional. All right. Now, as a result of the preceding factors, manufacturers are finding it difficult to finance acquisition of technology. So because of all these factors they mentioned, like bringing technology, improving their processes, it has been hard, like very, very hard. In fact, even innovation and sustainable production, it has eluded the sector. That means manufacturers are actually finding it very, very difficult to improve, and of course, it's reasonable with all these issues. Now, let's now go to Nigerian diaper and sanitary pad industry. Nigeria diaper and sanitary pad industry. Now, the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because this is what we are sure of. Now, the suggested unseen is most likely what you will see in the exam. But this is what we have. This is what we know that 100% will see. So don't be like, let's go to the unseen. This is what you need. This is what you will see. So please, let's look at it very well so that we can get the marks. Now, I want to say something. The reason why Ican gives you information as Preseen is because of what? They always say that they want you to what? They want you to research. They want you to research. So the essence of this information they're providing you with is to carry out what? Is to carry out research. Is to carry out research. So in this particular information was sorry, this particular information is online. And many people are like, God, I can will be angry that we saw it. No, the essence of it in the first place is for you to carry out a research. You understand? To be able to know where the information is. So you can see from the first page of the ICANN case study question that they said what? That to essence is what? To undertake research and analysis. Now, this question, this information, this part was gotten from this part. This is the place. This is the link. Let it load. This is the place where they got the information. Everything word for word. And then I'll mention something here when we get to the unseen. But let's just take it one after the other. Let's take one after the other. So now they said what that diaper is what you wear under to pass to when it becomes soiled, it requires changing. And the diapers are worn by babies, they are used by adults, they are even used by elderly, those with physical and mental disability, and also used by astronauts. I mean, this is saying that what there's a big market. This is a strength for DEFCON because they are not only relying on babies, they are relying on adults too buy. People that don't have certain health challenges, people that don't have access to toilets, elderly people that have or those with physical and mental disabilities, those with medical problems, like even astronauts. I didn't even know that astronauts wear diapers. So they have like a large market for them to sell. And then they told us that diapers are made up of synthetic disposable materials, and they're also made up of which can be thrown away. Now, they have the first one is what diapers that can be thrown away, and they also have diapers that are washable diapers. This one they have like they have fabrics like hemp, cotton, bamboo, and they are washable and reusable. So there are different types of pampers, the washable and the disposable. And they said that as a result of manufacturing technologies and advocacy for green manufacturing, just like we saw earlier, that people are what advocating now for green manufacturing. Green manufacturing is just saying that a type of manufacturing that protects the environment. And now we know that factories and companies they release monoxides, that's like different smoke to the atmosphere, which affects the environment. In fact, oil spillage, like the one we're experiencing in Niger Delta and the likes. So now people are now saying no more affecting our environment. And like this has what led to improvements in design and biodegradability of safety of pampers, therefore has gained acceptance. So now they're saying that using biodegradable materials, using designs, people are now accepting it. So what is this telling us? They can give you a situation that they will say that what can you hear me? I just want to confirm if my network is still good. All all right, all right. To go now, I'm recording again. I want to ensure, like I said, that it gets the full and maximum, the 100% record. All right. Good. So please let me know if you can see my screen again. Somebody can just unmute and just let me know. Yeah, I can see your screen. You can't see it. Okay, can you see it now? Is it good now? Sorry, I didn't get that. All right. Awesome. Ah, it's showing. Maybe it's network, it will load. You can see it. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. You can't see. Don't worry, it will load. It's network. It's loading. It's loading. You'll see. Just follow through, okay? Just follow me. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can mute yourselves again. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. So as we're saying now, that's what that as a result of what? As a result of advancements in manufacturing, like people are now saying no more oil spillage, no more putting monoxides in the economy. Now, people are now tending towards design, people are now tending to biodegradable material. So they can give you a situation that they will say Defcon wants to adopt or introduce a product that is going to use materials that are going to protect the environment. So that's something they can tell you. That's possible requirement. Now, moving on, they told us this is just about the global market. Now, we don't need this information. This information is just telling us that the market is improving. They told us that the diaper has estimated to reach, you can almost see that it's in dollars. I cannot test you dollars, it's naira. They're just telling us the growth in the market. That it has been estimated to reach 69.5 billion. In fact, it has even they even have a growth rate of 8.1% between 2022 and 2027. Now, for the sanitary napkins, also known as sanitary pads, for what? Absorbing menstrual blood, that this one as well too, that they comprise of different layers of fabric, of polymers and plastics, and they are manufactured in different shapes and sizes with different absorption capabilities. And they also told us that what the market is growing and it's even projected to grow by 4.7%. So what is this just telling us? This is just telling us that if you see that DEFCON is having a project that they're telling you to do MPV on the project, and you can see that they are saying that the project is relating to pad or sanitary pad or diapers, you can say, yes, go ahead. That in addition, aside the positive NPV of 1 million naira, which shows that this project is profitable. This industry is going to grow. There's projection of growth. So that means you cannot advise them. So these are theoretical things you can use to advise the company that yes, let's leave financial aspect alone. Even talking about the industry, there's growth potential. So if you do something relating to diapers and pads, you are on the right track. And just like we saw earlier, they also told us about population increasing. And of course, this is a strength, or rather, no, this is an opportunity because this is not a strength, because strength are things that are within the control of the company. Population is not within the control, but it's a positive thing. So this is an opportunity for the company. That of course, company that is growing, population of over 220 million people. Even if we can only get 10% of that one, we are good to go. You understand? So and then apart from that, it's even going to grow again. So we can see that they said that Nigeria has a large and growing sustainable market for that. So if you are saying that you want to embark on a project relating to pads, relating to diapers, you can tell them, yes, go ahead. People are there, they will help you to buy. Then they also told us that less than 20% of the demand is in Nigeria. The rest are imported. So this is telling us that this is a threat. This is a problem because what people are demanding for 80% international and 20% Nigeria. I actually had an auntie then. If she goes to the supermarket, he's only the one that said manufactured outside the country she's buying. Anyone Nigeria, she's not buying. So the people are like that too. So this is a problem that could affect them. So you can tell them that fine, population is growing, people will buy, but there's dominance of what? Of imported goods. People are relying more, 80% on imported goods. So they should try as much as possible to try and ensure their own is of good quality. You understand? Then they also said that 4 billion worth of pampers are imported annually. And the intention, let's read this very well, of government is to stop importation and see how available local resources could be used, especially as the country has companies that are into petrochemicals that can provide the raw materials for the sector. So now they're telling us now that government has the intention to stop importation. Now, we have not yet gotten there. We'll still read it. What do you say? Sorry, it's moving. I don't get. You cannot see it. Okay, let me stop sharing and just start again. Since people are saying they can't see it. Um. Okay, you should be able to see it now. I think it's good, right? Are we good to go? Are we good to go, everyone? All right. Thank you. It's okay now. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You can just mute yourself. Thank you so much. So now they can give you a requirement. They are telling you that um um Defcon is now going towards has to use local resources and local what local raw materials. But then there's a problem. Remember that they said that although they said agricultural sector is improving, things are becoming better, but there's still a problem in the economy. So if government is saying no more importation, only what only locally made goods. All right, please stop muting me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right, please don't mute me again. No, please. Okay, let me recap. Okay, wait. Yeah, okay, all right. Let me recap what I said. So I was talking about this this place. You cannot hear me. Can you hear me now? All right, thank you so much. All right, good. Thank you so much. Please mute yourselves. Thank you. All right, please mute yourselves. Thank you. So I was saying now that please mute yourself. Oh, don't worry about that. You will get the full recording. So, and network is not going to affect the recording. So, you get the full recording. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Use that. Thank you so much. Please try and mute yourself. Please adjust your network. But don't worry if you have issues. The full recording. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everyone. Don't worry. The full recording will be available. I know Nigeria, everybody knows how it is. So sorry about that. Don't worry, the full recording will be available and no network challenge will be affected by that. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, now moving on. The intention, no, so they can give you a situation, they can tell you that government has said that Defcon should stop using imported goods because now we're going to see it shortly. They said that 70% of the goods, of the raw materials are imported in Defcon. We will read it. So they can say that, okay, government said stop importing local and importing raw materials. Start using local one. But the issue now is that they have not totally fixed the agricultural sector challenges. And if we are saying that 70% of our goods were imported before for raw materials, now you are saying stop importing, use local. That means problem go enter. There is no way. Constraints go there. There will be different issues relating to raw materials. So think of it like that. So they could give you a situation, a limiting factor, where they will tell you that raw materials, because of what? Government's rule to what? To ensure that we use locally made resources or raw materials. Now we have stopped importing 70%. But the problem now is that we don't have enough material. Advise us, how can we maximize our profits with the material available? So that's a possible requirement that we could test. And then they told us that the PAMSEC or the federal ministry has also said that the industry is a tool for national development, that there's areas of job creation, there's growth. They also said that the government, the sector is developing, and then they also said that that the there's high fertility and birth rate. In fact, to the extent that over 5.9 million babies we born annually. So that's still telling us about the opportunity for population, which is going to help us to improve our demand. Now, look at this now. They are emphasizing something here. Shortfall in supply. Shortfall. There's shortfall. Shortfall, that's what there's limited supply. So prepare for limiting factor. It's possible they can test that. But this is reversible. Since what? That the most since the industry, the diaper industry, is viable in Nigeria, and government plans to make production of sanitary pad a national issue, and there's opportunity for investment. This is what? This is because all the raw material, all the raw and packaging material inputs can be sourced locally. Now they're telling us now that government is saying that that they should use locally made manufactured goods or raw materials. And then they're saying that all these things we have them in Nigeria. But the thing is that are they in sufficient quantity? That's the question. Well, they're saying that technology has to be imported. Like the technology they're using to produce is imported. But production is not sophisticated. So they can produce here, but they need technology there. But even though technology is imported, it's not something that Nigerians cannot do. It's something that we can easily transfer to our workforce in Nigeria. So what is saying now? Number one, government is saying use locally made raw materials. Number two, for us to produce diapers and pads, we need technology from outside, overseas. But then this technology, we can actually bring it to Nigeria and develop it, and people here, our people here can actually use it. So how does this concern us? They can give us a scenario where they will tell us that there's government has imposed that we should use raw materials, but then DEFCON needs to import the technology, and then DEFCON needs to train his laborers to use the technology. So I'm just trying to open up your mind to different possibilities. Now, the challenges in the industry, the one that we saw earlier was challenges in the economy. And this one is pertaining to the industry. So if you are doing SWOT analysis, take points, you can take points from here and there. But basically, it will be mostly for the industry because it's the industry that we're really, really concerned about. But you can also take 1 or 2 points from the one that we read earlier. So we're just going to read it. It's still the same thing. We'll just read it a bit. So opportunities, they said, are the growing population, and increasing awareness of hygiene, and then there's high birth rates, which and other uses, which contributes to the need of diapers. So there's high demand. And the reason why there's high demand is because, like we said earlier, there's a lot of people in the economy that needs pampers, and then they're giving birth every day. So people need pampers. So this is an opportunity for us. Then local production potential. Now they're saying that with now that look at this, there is significant supply gap. So limiting factor most likely will be tested in this case because they're emphasizing constraint from the beginning. We're breathing constraint. So then they're saying that there's a significant supply gap with a substantial shortfall between demand and local production. That's what they are demanding for and what they are producing. Let's say they are demanding for 50 pampers, but because of what we have, we can only produce three, and we can only produce 30. So we have limitation of 20. You understand? So, but then they said that this gap provides lucrative opportunity for local manufacturers to meet. So the good thing about this is that since there's a limitation, fine, we know that there's a limitation. But the good thing about this is that if DEFCON can look for ways to tackle that limitation, there's an opportunity there. Just like you said, there's a blessing in every challenge. You understand? So if they can produce, they can what? Get demand. People will demand for their products, and then people will stop demanding for 80% of pampers. You know, they said earlier that 80% is imported, 20% is locally is for local products that they are buying. Then technological advancement, just like we read earlier, that they have improved technology. People are now using design, biodegradability, safety products, like they're using biodegradable materials that's making them more appealing. So they have tried to make it better, make it more appealing. And then government support. So government has shown interest in supporting the local production and to reduce import dependency. So this is something that government has actually what government has shown interest. So if government is showing interest, so if we are saying that government is showing interest in local production, they're emphasizing it. So it's possible that they can tell us that government is saying don't import outside again. Now what? Now produce inside and reduce the import dependency and foreign exchange pressure. So it's possible that they can give us a requirement that is centered around something like that. Then they also gave us threats, which we know before, economic challenges, the high interest inflation rates that has risen the cost of living. Of course, if cost of living is high, prices of things are high, definitely demand will be low. So if you are seeing that revenue is declining, of course, it will definitely decline because people don't have money again. But then, guess what? This has led to the emergence of sachet economy, where products are sold in smaller and more affordable quantities. So I don't know if you have seen it before. You see all these sachet sanitary pads and sachet like small packs of diapers. So now this is something that they can say. They can say, okay, oh, because of low demand, DEFCON plans to introduce sachet diapers. They plan to introduce sachet pads. So that's a requirement they could test. That, okay, because so as to improve demand, they are actually doing it. So that's a possible situation that could come up. Then competition from imports, just like we saw, the 80% are imported, just 20% are is local products that are bought. You understand? So this has also caused problems and has affected profitability. So if you are calculating profitability ratios and you are seeing that profitability ratios are declining, of course it will definitely decline because people are like I said, that my auntie, she will not once there's Nigeria on that nylon. No, no, no. It's US UK, even though it's more expensive. The idea is that US UK is much more quality than the other ones. You understand? So people are like that. So this will affect our profitability. So this is something you can use to back up your declining profitability ratios. Then raw material sourcing. So that they're saying now that raw materials can be sourced locally, but there's still what? There's still challenge. They're still experiencing challenges in ensuring consistent quality and supply, which can affect production. So you can see that this thing is telling us that's why I said that if you read your pricing very well, you cannot be 100% surprised in your unseen. You have an idea of what the unseen will come or what they will ask. So in this case, now they're telling us down that they told us earlier that government is saying produce locally. But now they're not telling us now that the raw material government is forcing us to use is not even plenty, it's not even sufficient. You understand? Of course, production will be affected. You understand? So if production is affected because of constrained or limited raw materials, then think of limiting factor. Go and carry your performance management textbook. Now, wow, who is muting me now? How far? How far? Please, why did you stop hearing me? Oh, why did you stop hearing me? Please, please, why did you stop hearing me? Raw material sources. Okay, please, I beg in the name of God Almighty. That hand that is touching mute me, please let it not touch it again. Thank you so much. I appreciate your cooperation. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, so now let me go back to raw material sourcing. So I was explaining that, remember that we saw that they said the government is saying that we should use locally, that government is tending towards using local materials. Let me see if I'm not muted. Government is tending towards using local materials. But now they're saying now that there are challenges in ensuring consistent quality and supply. So while government is saying use local materials, they have not yet sorted out the problem of quality and sufficient raw material. So they can give you a situation that government has importation, but then we need raw materials, and as a result, what? There is low supply. Advise us based on these constraints, how can we manage our situation? So that's a possible requirement that they could take. Now, health and hygiene concerns. Now, a lot of people were saying that how is this a challenge, a threat? Because this is one of the threats. How is this a threat? Now, health and hygiene concerns. Let's read it. Now, the affordability issues have forced women or has forced some women to resort to unsanitary alternatives like tissues and clothes. Is it the person that has not eaten that will be thinking of buying pad? I mean, where is her old rag? She will put scissors on the old rag. No, cut it and make pad for herself. But that's unsanitary. It's not a sanitary way. So now, how can this affect us? How is this a threat? This is a threat because if everybody say let's go and be cutting our old wrapper, then who will now buy our sophisticated sanitary pad? Nobody will buy it now. Nobody will buy it. Last is our laborers and the board of directors that will wear it. You understand? So this is a threat because this can affect our demand and affect our sales. Because if everybody is resorting to sanitary alternatives, then this can affect us. And the alternative says that it's not as if it's even affecting their health positively. It's affecting, it's causing health risk. So that's the way it can be a threat. So these are things that you can use if they test SWOT. These are things that they can use to talk about threats. Now, please, if they did not tell you do SWOT in your requirements, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Examiners have complained time and time again that people are doing SWOT analysis when they don't ask them to do it. Do SWOT analysis only if they tell you using SWOT analysis or assessing internal and external environments, or they can say something like carry out a strategic analysis, assessing internal and external environment, or something that will tell you that okay, no, this is SWOT. If they don't say it, please don't do it though. Thank you. Thank you. Now, looking at Defcon, our introduction, I was also of that opinion in the introduction section of your report. I can said talk about the background of the company. I am also of the opinion that it does not make sense, especially in an internal report, because you are preparing the report for the owners of the company, even the one that is not hidden to the public when the company was still suffering. All those pictures of Sapa will not even release it to the public. The story behind it all will tell you more than that. So why are you telling us about our report, our company in your report? But Ican said, do it. If you're a room, please behave like a Roman. When you leave Ican exam hall, you can do whatever you like. But Ican said in the introduction section, talk about the company. So this is where you get information about it. Now they said what? That it was incorporated in 2005 February, and like we know, they're manufacturing diapers and pads, and then they started a month after, that's March 2025, or 2005 rather. And that shows that if they give you financial statements of 2024, that shows that the company has been operating for almost 19 to 20 years. So that shows that the company would be effective in its operations and the likes. And then they have various product lines. They have the luxury, the super, the simple, and then recently they added the economy diaper and pad. So that means this company is not only satisfying the rich, it's also satisfying those that want the affordable goods as well. So it's satisfying everybody in the economy. And then they have three locations: Ikeja, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna. And then they have depots in all the state capitals. So this shows that when it comes to operational and physical presence, the company is there in all the 36 states and the FCT. They have they have depots. Depots are places that they use for distribution networks, and then this um, in the country from where its distributors are serviced. You can see now, you can see what I said, that this is where distributors of the product, they will send, the distributors can come and collect goods, maybe wholesalers, retailers, and go to their own shop and sell. And then the depot managers are the ones that are actually controlling this. And just like we saw, the company imports 70% of its raw materials from overseas and 30% are sourced locally. So now, if you are given a question that government is saying use local material, if we are using, if before 70% is imported from overseas, they're not stopping us, and the 70% we cannot even get it from local made goods or local manufacturers, local raw materials, then there'll be a problem. Most likely we'll have a constraint. You understand? And even looking at all those issues of import tariffs that we read, issues of foreign exchange volatility. So if you are seeing that the cost of sales is increasing, most likely to increase because there's import tariff, there are taxes like we read, there's like exchange rates volatility that we saw. Is recording? Yes, I'm recording. I'm recording. Don't worry. I'm recording. You get the recording after. All right, thank you. So now it's recording. Yes, I'm recording. You get the recording after. Thank you so much. You can please mute yourselves now. Thank you so much. And then they talked about labor. They said that labor is sourced locally. So now in this case now, although they could give you a situation that labor is a constraint, but they might not really face labor challenges there because before there's even unemployment. Is it the person that don't have job that are saying come and do job that will say no? So local is sourced, labor is sourced locally, and then they have technical directors that oversees the production. The marketing director oversees sales and marketing. Sales and depot managers control the national sales are controlled by national sales manager, which is based in Ikeja. Then the sale, promotional, and advertisement activities are directed at the head office. And then there are two branch managers who the manage marketing activities of the Diaper. So they're just telling us the breakdown of the responsibilities of each of these staff members in the company. And now they told us about the competition in the industry, where they say that the competition is very high, and that there are four major companies that control 60%. And if Defcon is controlling 25% out of that 60%, that means just 35% is left for the rest. That means what Defcon is the market leader. Defcon is the market leader. Is like one of the best in the company. And if you want to look at it in real life, you can say companies like the Huggies and all of that, they are the ones that are the market leaders and all. You understand? So Defcon is the market leader. And they have also Jamison with 15%, Denton with 12%, Limson with 8%. And apart from them, the remaining 20 other companies are controlling 40% market share. Now, look at this now. We have the management and the board members. Let me zoom out a bit so I can see. Now, the management and the board members, let's look at this now. The board, we have chairman. Adeolu Oluwasere is the chairman. Titi is the managing director. Andrew is the technical. Tafa, this is our Oga at the top. The finance director. Dorcas is the marketing. Timothy is the non-executive director. Now, for a board to have independence and for a board not to have conflict of interest and self-review threat. Now, remember that when I was showing you in the Ican Preseen, the material, the Ican will always give you, that they'll always give you lists of what? Of ethical issues. So now in this case now, let's go and we'll finish reading what we're reading so that we'll see. You can see that the management now, Titi Obadele, who is on the board, is also in the management team. Andrew is also in the management team. Tafa is also in the management team. Dorcas is also in the management team. The only difference is Mr. The chief, who is the chairman, that is not there. Timothy is the non-executive director. But one out of five, he does not have mouth now. Abi? And the remaining two, that are the difference. So now in this case now, the board is the management. And now what are the issues? What are the ethical issues that could come? Let's go away. Ethical issues of lack of professional independence or objectivity. There's no independence. The reason why the board should be separated from the management is because what? There is a need for what? Independence. Who is going to check and balance us? Who is going to checkmate what we're doing? Who is going to say, oh no, don't do this, don't do that? When I'm the one that did it, you are saying management, that thing you did yesterday was bad. But I'm the one saying I'm the how will we now who will now correct who? You understand? There's a problem. The conflict of interest will also arise because the management is the managers are the ones that are also the board. There could be conflicts of interest. In fact, doubtful accounting practice could also come on ethical issues, inappropriate pressure. So these are some points that you can use as ethical issues. So this is also a problem. So there will be problem of independence, problem of objectivity, and problem of conflict of interest because what 5 out of the 6 board members are part of the management team. So this is an issue. Then number 5, Defcon's response to environmental concerns. So they told us now that the company is what, just like we saw, that there's advocacy for green production. People now want to no more to oil spillage, no more to monoxide in the atmosphere. So in this case now, they are telling us now that the what? That there's concern for sustainability issues in production. And the board has approved that the management evolves strategies to embrace green production. What they're saying now is that you want to start using production techniques that would protect the environment. Now, please, if you're not listening before, this one or this time around, leave that rice that you're eating because I know that online class you can be distracted. Listen to what I'm saying. This is very, very important. Therefore, the management plans to introduce a new product plans to introduce new products. What's this telling us? This most likely would be our what? Our requirement. Most likely, we should expect this in our requirements. Because what? They're telling us that they plan to introduce new products. So but then that's not all. Oh. Let's read it. Products that what significantly reduce let me even put it in red. Go on, if you have your material with you, oh yeah, underline that thing. Now. They plan to introduce products that will significantly reduce, very good, well done, that will reduce the adverse environmental impact of its products. Then, look at it on the other hand, oh, there's no finish. Oh. While at the same time, provide effective and affordable products. Remember that we saw, if you are following me closely, that we saw from when we were reading that they said that people don't have purchasing power, and as a result, they have tended or they are now tending towards what sachet products. So now what's it telling us that most likely, come, don't tell anybody. Oh, this is a secret. I'm just joking. Most likely, they will tell you that what to appraise a product that they want to introduce into the market. But then this product will be something relating to a product that protects the environment and a product that what will be affordable. And then they mentioned that certain products are affordable. So what's it saying? Let's bring it together now. So they can tell us that the management plans to introduce a product that will protect the environment or let's put it together. The management plans to introduce a product that will protect the environment, but this product will produce in sachet quantities to improve affordability. Like I said, if you read your on see very well, you cannot be 100% surprised. Most likely, this is what they will tell you to do because they kept emphasizing it even before. Now, they now say something here. The following sustainable production methods that could reduce, now they're telling us that, okay, what kind of product can they produce that will reduce the adverse environmental impact and still maintain effectiveness? So now, this is the possible requirements they could test. So number 1, biodegradable materials. The use of biodegradable and compostable materials such as banana and bamboo fibers to produce sanitary pads. So now the first one is that they can tell you that they want to produce sanitary pads that are going to be produced by biodegradable material. So there's what we call biodegradable pads, sanitary diapers. So now recently, if you even Google it online, you see it's biodegradable diapers. So in this case, now they can tell you that they want to introduce it because remember that the list they gave us was just luxury simple, super, and economy. They didn't say they're doing anything biodegradable. So it's possible that they can tell you they want to introduce biodegradable pampers. Now, in this case now, organic cotton. So it can tell you that they want to produce a good pads and diapers that will use organic cotton, because now this one what it will reduce environmental impact. Then or they can also tell you that they want to also produce reusable pads. So that's a possible requirement too. Or and they can also tell you that what they want to produce pads that are designed for durability and comfort and for better absorbency. So these are possible requirements that they could test, because what these things relate to what introduction of products that will reduce environmental impact and also what are affordable. And then they also told us some eco-friendly manufacturing processes. So how does this come in your report? So if peradventure they tell you that okay, the company wants to produce a product and they're not using any of these processes, they're not using energy efficiency, they're not using water conservation, they're not using sustainable packaging, you can advise them that company not be only money, NPV you go look at also these processes too ensure that you're using energy efficiency ensure you're using water conservation ensure that you're using sustainable packaging. So you can say in addition, it is advised that energy efficiency comma, water conservation and sustainable packaging methods be adopted. They advise that they adopt them in the manufacturing process of the products that they want to introduce. So these are things that you can use. So that was all about the Preseen. That was all about the Preseen. So let's go to our thing. All right. So disclaimer, first thing. Everybody knows. If you don't know what disclaimer is, yeah, I'm just joking. Disclaimer: this suggested on scene will be slightly different from the after on scene. Of course, except you are the one that said the question, you cannot know 100%. But what? It will be slightly different from what you will see. So, what I'm mentioning it is because I had a student that unfortunately said that she used to cram the unseen and just suggested go and copy. You not even read the requirement. You just write what she said. Please read the requirement, though. It may be different, please. The document is just to assist you in preparing and have an idea of what to expect. I wish you success. Welcome to the success train. So the first thing we have, okay, thank you, Jesus. All right, so the first thing you have list of exhibits. So the first email, you have an email from Tafa Gambari to you, Matthew Demudia. So Tafa Gambari will send you an email that you should work on. And then you have an email from Titi Obadele. I think Titi Obadele is not the managing director now. So she was, no, of course, like I always said, Tafa Gambari is your boss. But Matthew Demudia is the boy. So they will give work to Tafa. Tafa will send work to Matthew. That's how it is. So they will give work to your boss. Your boss will instruct you to do. So in this case now, this is the email that contains the instruction that was given to Tafa, and Tafa will now send the instruction to you. So we have all this. Then expect management accounts. Just like the November, if you joined late, I was showing them November 2019 diet, Detoy Farm and Farm Products. That was an extra report anyway. But in that case, the same thing today to their manufacturing shoes, I think. No, Detoy Farm and Farm Products, they're manufacturing. So in that case now, they are also private too. The board is also the management, just like Defcon. There's a lot of similarities between two of them. Two of them they are producing, two of them they are limited. Because now, even from the name limited, because if it's a public company, you know that it's a PLC, limited. So that company, what I'm just saying, there's a lot of similarities between them. But they give them management account. Though. Don't say, we have escape ratio. Please go and carry your ratio book and read it. So most likely you have management accounts too. And it could be for 3 years. For 3 years. I remember that we kept saying that 20 if they're giving you 2022, 2023, and 2024. Remember that we kept saying that 2023 there were challenges. So if you are saying that 2023 there was a decline, you can use it to explain. Then the proposed Lagos plant and the biodegradable diapers. Now I want to show you something quickly. This is where Ican got the material from. Now they did something in November 2023 that yes, Adalas Product Nigeria Limited. That was the real company. The real company they used was Olam, OLAM. That was the real company. They copy that. They don't even I can copy. They copied and pasted the entire thing in that real company. And but they didn't copy and paste all. They copied and pasted a particular part. Now, in the unseen, they now copied and pasted the remaining parts. So what am I saying now? That where they got the information from, they used it completely. So that what I did was that I read this information and then look at this now. You can see that they said something here. That this report is to examine the what? The financial viability or otherwise of establishing a sanitary napkin baby and adult production plant in Lagos using these raw materials. So what they're saying now in this case now that in the material, although they didn't show the entire report in this case, but they're saying now that in the material that they are talking about is that the material that I can use, there will be a question, most likely, that will test you to assess a production plant in Lagos. Then they told us the capacity of the plant, that the capacity of the plant has 500 pieces per minute for sanitary pad, the 300 pieces per minute for the diapers. It will operate at 80% capacity, double shifts of 8 hours and 300 days per annum. So what I did in preparing the unseen was that since the pattern of Ican is when they take something like this from a real life company, they would take the remaining part and work on it. So I sat down with it and said, okay, what are the possible questions based on what we have read in the unseen? Based on, okay, they want to most likely introduce a new product, the product would be sustainable, okay, they want to use local materials. So what is the type of question that it could form from this particular information? So that was what I used to prepare the suggested unseen document. So you can see that I said the proposed Lagos plan, just like we saw there, and then the biodegradable diapers. Biodegradable diapers. So in this case, I remember that they said that they want to introduce a new product, and the product would reduce the adverse impact on the environment and also be affordable. So in this case now, the proposed Lagos plant, and this one now will assess it, will appraise it. Then this one, they want to introduce diapers. They want to introduce diapers that would protect the environment and also be what? Also be affordable. So this is just the breakdown of the information that can give you the reading time, how you will draft your report, the analysis. This one we read it earlier, the assimilation of reports. This one we talked about it earlier. And now let's now start with the email. Now this document will be released, so don't worry about it. So this is the first exhibit we have. Then the information was from Tafa Gambari and it was sent on the 6th of May 2025 to Matthew. And the information is about the board meeting. So let's start. As you are aware, the next board meeting at which the company's performance and the strategic plan for the coming year will be considered in 2 weeks. So first thing we have to think is talk about is this in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. So now in this case now, they sent you this information on the 6th of May. And they're telling you that they need this information in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is 14 days. 14 plus 6 is 20. So that means you should have prepared your on the date. Very good, very good. Well done. Yes, yes, very good. So you can put a date like 17, like 18, 19, but not before, not more than 20. If not, you sack letter. That they'll just say, you not submit this report. Oh, yeah, bye bye. I'm just joking. All right, so now in this meeting, the first thing they would like to do is what? They would like to review their performance over the last 3 years. They would like to review their performance over the last 3 years. That's 2022 to 2024. And the purpose is to determine whether we have been able to maintain what? Maintain financial stability in the face of persistent industry-wide challenges. Like now, we saw that there were so many challenges in the industry. So have they been able to maintain their financial stability? And then whether our product lines have remained profitable despite the erosion of purchasing power, which has resulted in low demand. So now I tell you now that okay, two things. The first thing you check is have they been able to maintain stability? And then the products too. The products, because now we saw that people are no more buying again, low demand, inflation, low purchasing power. So they are telling you now to check. Looking at all these things, our products have which have been selling, and looking at its overall financial overview, have you been stable? So they're asking you to check it. Then they also told you that they are planning to establish a plant in Lagos, just like the information I showed you from that material that I can use. This one, They are planning to establish a plant in Lagos, and they are planning to introduce the product, that product that we saw in the material that they are trying to introduce biodegradable diapers in line with our commitment to sustainability. So that they're not telling you that they would like you to carry out one. Now, I did this intentionally for you to see something. When people see this now, they'll say, we have three requirements. No, this one is the breakdown. The requirement is not in Roman numerals. I know. It's usually in number one, number two. They usually use numbers. So when you see something like this, although the Roman numerals, that is one too, is the breakdown of one and two. But, but it's two requirements you have, not one. And how you know your requirement is, they will always say something like this. Please draft for my review. A report to be submitted to so. You understand? So they always say that, but let's even read it from it. They said the first thing you should do is carry out a detailed review of the management accounts over the last 3 years, highlighting our performance. You are also to carry out a revenue performance by product line, identifying which products are contributing significantly to the company's growth and those that may require or need further management attention. So what I'm saying now is that aside looking at our overall management accounts, also tell us to looking at our products, because we have different products. Like I said, we have luxury, we have simple, we have super, we have economic diapers and pads. So looking at all of them, which one is doing well, which one is not doing well? You understand? So that we know that which one is growing our company and which one is the one that management should look at. Our management, this one, no, they do well. So that's what I'm telling you to help us to check. Then we should appraise the Lagos production plant and advise the board whether we should proceed with it or not. Then the proposed introduction of biodegradable diapers into the market based on the financial details provided in Exhibit 10 and recommend the quantity that should be produced given the constraints. You know that we kept seeing that they were telling us something like, oh, the government is going to tell them to start producing locally. But then we saw that there's supply, raw material supply constraints, there's quality and supply problems. So now in this case, now they're telling you that there's a constraint. So now advise them, how many should we produce? What's the quantity that we should produce given these constraints? Then we are also to highlight the impact of the trend in the internal and external environment on the biodegradable diaper. So now in this case, I'm telling you now that how does the thing, the event in the internal environment and how does the event in the external environment, how will it affect these pampers, these diapers? So now this is telling you that, so this is now telling you use SWOT analysis. Please, if they're not something like this, don't do SWOT. Examiners have complained. Please don't do SWOT. Now, this is now the summary of the requirement. So they said that Exhibit 6 to 10 would assist us. Then please draft a report submitted to the board. So please check. Don't always assume it's the board of directors. I think was it? Yes. November 2014. Yes, November 2014 diet. 2014 now. They said prepare a report to Ade Mambuza. I don't know if I got the pronunciation correct, but it was prepared by Ade Mambuza was somebody in the company. But so in this case now they can say prepare a report to Chief Oluwashere, that's the chairman. You understand? So check, but although 97, almost 100% of the time, usually to the board, but still check. Still check so you'll be sure. So your report should comprise and questions like would they change internal report, external report? No. Based on the pattern of Ican, once you have seen that it's an internal report in the Preseen, to definitely be internal. What I'm just saying is check who within that internal you are submitting the report to. Is it board? If it's board, good. If it's not board, check. All right, so now the summary of the requirements is number one. You should review the management accounts in the last 3 years, highlighting the performance. You should review the revenue by product line. We should highlight the products that are contributing significantly to the growth of the company and those that will require further management attention. And then they told us that we should evaluate the two business proposals. And that's the plant and the biodegradable diapers. And then we should also highlight the impact of trends in the internal and external environment. Now, look at this now. This SWOT analysis is part of requirement 2. It's not a requirement on its own. So include it in the body of requirement 2. Include it in the conclusion of requirement 2 and include it in the what? In the recommendation of requirement 2. Check May 2024 diet. They tested answer product matrix. That's what they tested model. You see that where they added the model, in this case now they added it in requirement 2. Every information of the model should be in requirement 2. Don't form another additional requirement for yourself, please. And they said they look forward to receiving our reports. Then in most times they usually give two emails. Although November 2023 diet, November 2023 diet, they did not give two emails, they gave one. But that's just one out of many times. People don't read the second email, and that's why people have issues understanding the requirements. Most times the breakdown of the requirements is in the second email. Please, I beg you, name of God, read your email. I'm kneeling down. If are the first thing you should do when you get to your Preseen and unseen, because as I enter in the exam hall, when you enter, they'll give you the question. It's not to read though. The first thing you should do is go to your requirements. Go to your first email, go to your second email. In fact, out of the 1 hour reading time, even if you spend 15 minutes trying to understand what you do, it's very important. Because if you don't understand, then because some people are just like, right, 4 hours is not enough. Let me start writing. If you start writing and you don't understand what you're writing, because so please digest it as much as possible. As much as possible. So that what you can understand it. When you finish digesting your requirements, then go and start reading. Because if you start reading, like now in this case now, you realize we need SWOT analysis. We now start going back. Where is S? Where is W? Where is O? Where is T? When you know, okay, I need SWOT analysis. As you were reading, you start highlighting, okay, I can use this as S, I can use this as W, so you will know what you need. It will give you an insight on the information that is required. You understand? Now, the second one is the request to review the management account and the email. So Titi Obadele, one of the board members, sent this instruction to Tafa on the 5th of May. And you know, Tafa sent it on the 6th of May. So it was the day after that Tafa now gave you the instruction. All right, so top of the date. So concerning that now, the question is which date are we going to use? Look at the date on your what? On your requirements. Because now this was sent on the 5th of May. Can you do a requirement before they give you? No, you cannot do something they did not give you. This was sent on the 6th of May. You understand? This was sent on the 6th of May. So now count 2 weeks from this 6th of May. You understand? So it should be a day before 2 weeks, not more than 2 weeks. You understand? Because you cannot do requirement that they gave you after now. So don't use the second email. Use the email that where your requirement is. Now, top of the day to you. I hope this email finds you well. In line with our commitment to enhancing strategic decision making, you are required to carry out a detailed review of our management accounts over the last 3 years. So now they're telling you now, carry out a review of management accounts. If you highlight the performance over the period and revenue by product line, and then you should identify the products that have contributed to growth and those that require attention. Attention. And like they said that was the company is currently considering two proposals. The first one is the installation of the Lagos plant, and they would like us to what, appraise it and advise the board whether or not to proceed. Now they're emphasizing now, tell us whether or not to proceed. Even if you have a beautiful report and throughout the report you not say proceed or accept or implement or don't proceed or, and that report is useless because we're not here to read English. Tell us we proceed or not. So in your recommendation, in your conclusion, you have to state it there. This project has a positive NPV, therefore it should be accepted. This project has a negative NPV, therefore it should not be accepted. So you have to tell us. Then the second proposal is the introduction of biodegradable diapers into the market. In line with our commitment to innovation and sustainability, we are considering the introduction of the diapers. And then the diapers will be produced in full packs and sachet to afford affordability and sales. So you can see this now that they said that what they want to introduce a new product that what will be affordable. So you can see now that this is in line with the requirements or in line with what we read in the Preseen. So now they're telling us now that they would like us to what, evaluate it based on the financial details in Exhibit 10 and recommend the quantity that should be produced given the constraints. And we should also highlight the impact of trends in internal and external environment on the diapers. And then they look forward to receiving our reports on the above. As always, I trust you will deliver before our next board meeting, which is in 2 weeks. So you should deliver before the next board meeting. All right. So now, one regards, Titi. This is now the management account. So let me zoom out a bit so you can see. So you can see that the management account has the statement of financial position. Sorry, the management account, yes, statement of profit or loss. You have your revenue. You have notes to the account too. You have your gross profit. You have some selling and distribution expenses. So as an accountant, it's very, very wrong for you to look at financial statement like this and then say, revenue is increasing, because we know that to a non-accounting person, the person can do that. But we as accountants, we know that on this face value, it can be looking good. But when we start using ratio and like I used to say, ratio is to cast. Eh? Ratio they expose. Ratio will say, no, 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 no. This company is not profitable. Trend analysis self to expose the company very well. So you can't just look at the financial statement like this. You cannot look at it like this and just determine. You have to calculate. But we can see now that revenue, you can see this is revenue, this is cost, this is distribution expenses, administrative expenses, operating costs, we have finance costs, your profit before tax, and your profit after tax. And then you have your statement of financial position. Statement of financial position, your non-current assets, your current assets, your equity, and then your liabilities. And then you have your manufacturing account. So it's very possible that they'll give you manufacturing account because this is a manufacturing company. Now, what is the essence of this? The essence of this is that it shows you manufacturing account will show you the breakdown of how they got the cost of sales. Like now, look at this now. The direct material cost, direct labor cost, the overhead. Now look at this now. You can see that our cost of sales is 77,000 for 2024, 73,500 and 70,000. So excuse me, how this was gotten now is all this. So in this case now you can see now that in our statement of profit or loss, now you can see now 77, 73, 500, 70,000. So the manufacturing account is just basically going to show you how they got the cost of sales figure and what is the essence, how does this affect your calculation. In this case now, when you're if you're calculating something like, sorry, okay, I think it's a mistake. All right, so if you please mute yourself, please. Thank you so much. So if you're calculating something like inventory days now, you know the please mute yourself. If you're calculating something like inventory days now, you know the normal formula for um, trade payable days or trade payable collection days rather is your trade receivables over your what? Over your revenue. Or let's even say inventory days. Inventory days. I think inventory days is not your I think your inventory now, your average inventory all over your cost of sales. But you know, most times we don't use average, we just use the closing. But in this case, you have to use average because they have opening, they have closing. Don't worry about that. I broke it down in the solution for you to see. So things like that too, you can use this information to provide to calculate it. All right. So and then we have the notes to the account. Remember that they said in the requirements that we're going to assess the product line to see which one is contributing to growth and which one is what which one is requires management attention, which one requires management attention. So this is the breakdown for parts and this is the breakdown for die parts diapers. So and then they gave us this breakdown for selling and distribution expenses, administrative expenses, payables. Ah, I'm sure. Okay, can everybody who cannot see my screen again? I just want to confirm. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Um, all right. Thank you so much. Please, if you're having issues with seeing, can you please try to put off your data and sorry? Okay. Please, if you're having issues with yours, yeah, please try to yes, yes. Sorry. Please, everybody should mute themselves. What can I do? So please, if you're having issues with it, please refresh. Thank you so much, everyone. Don't worry, you get the recording. All right. So now he gave us the trade payables, the breakdown, the trade receivables, the breakdown as well. Now, what other information did they give us? Now let's look at this Lagos production plan. Like I said, based on the trend, I can usually use this information that they give. In fact, You can, I'm sure this cannot be news again now. Except if you don't know, Sha, you can ask on the group. Somebody will share the link to you. This one it has casted now. Everybody has seen this thing. So most likely they will give information. This information here. So I used it to prepare the unseen, so that in case they give it to you, not be, and if I had known, no, don't worry about that. So the Lagos production plant, let's read it now. They said we have aligned our expansion strategy with government initiatives to promote local manufacturing. So like in this case now, they kept saying that government is saying they should produce locally, and then this case now they want to produce and compete well with local and international brands, because they said that 20% are 20% local purchase, 80% international or imported goods. Now, as part of our strategic move, we have approved the establishment of a new production plant in Lagos, which will be erected on the empty land at the head office in Ikeja. So in this case now, they don't need cost of land because they have an empty land, but they are going to erect a new plant. A plant is a factory. Just think of it like a factory. You understand? So they are going to establish a new plant in Lagos. And then the primary objectives of this expansion is to increase production and reduce dependency on imported goods. Because they kept saying that government is trying to ensure that they reduce dependency on imports, and they want to support local production. So in this case, they want to not say, okay, let us establish a factory, a plant in Lagos, such that we'll be producing more, and then we'll be reducing dependency on imports. Because you know that they said something in one of the opportunities, if you're following me clearly, that in one of the opportunities, they mentioned that there's high demand. But the issue now is that the demand is more than the supply. So in this case now, if you can produce more, but they said that if the company can produce more, then this is an opportunity for them. If you followed me closely, you know we read that. So now in this case now, doing this now will reduce our dependency on imported goods. It will improve our production capacity and even what? Improve our demand. To achieve this, technology to produce sanitary pads and diapers will be installed in the plant, and locally sourced raw materials will be used. Now remember that they said that government is tending towards local production because what? Raw materials can actually be sourced locally. But they said a problem is that technology has to be imported. So now in this case now, to solve all those problems, fine, we'll use the raw materials government has told us to use. But would also what? That technology we're importing every time, bring it from where, maybe China, wherever we're collecting it from, and bring it to Lagos. So that's, so is this a capital intensive project? So you know that you're thinking towards MPV here. But let's still read. The facility will focus on the production of sanitary pads and diapers using green production techniques. So in this case now, they say that they are tending towards sustainability and all. So they're going to use green production, that's sustainable production techniques. Now, high inflation rates have made the sanitary pads less affordable for many. And this has led to emergence of sachet economy. Now we saw this. Now, because of this now, products in full quantities and sachets will be made at the plant to improve demand and boost sales. I remember that they said that they want to introduce new products, and they want to introduce the one that will reduce the impact on the economy, or the impact on the environment, and also what, be affordable. So I know if you follow me closely, we're talking about sachet economy and all of that. So in this case now, the company in the plant, they're going to be producing the diapers and the pads in sachets, so that what they can reduce the what the they can improve affordability and demand. So now, despite local production, imported, now listen to me very well here, please. Imported goods still dominate the market, and this has affected our profitability, just like we saw, right? To reduce this impact, the board has given directions to label some of the locally manufactured products as international goods. Ha! This strategic decision aims to position the company more favorably in the market. Now, what's it telling us now? In fact, this is an ethical issue. If you want to go back to your Preseen, that first page, this is an ethical issue of what? Unethical business practices. Because now it's not ethical for a company, just like that my auntie I was telling you about now. Maybe some of the UK produce in UK, maybe it's even in Asaba. They produce this that she's thinking is UK. You understand? So this is unethical. So now inappropriate pressure to also inappropriate pressure to achieve a result, a particular result. So this is a very, very big ethical issue we have to talk about. So now they gave us information about the cost. So they told us about the raw material. So you can see from here, that sorry, just a moment. Okay, so you can see from here that they said that the raw materials will be pulp, tissue, PE film, hot melt gum, non-woven fabric, and these are the raw materials. Sha. So that was what please go out and come back inside again. Maybe it's network. Maybe it's network. Sorry about that. All right. Well, can other people see my screen just to confirm? I just want to know if it's network in that case. Thank you so much. Okay, let me share my screen now. Okay, sorry. So I just want to ensure that you get the full recording. So I'm recording it in two different places. See that you're very important to me like this. Two different places because I must ensure I get everything out for you. So can you please see my screen now? Are we back? Can somebody just let me know if you can see it? Is it here now? All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. Can you please mute yourself back? I appreciate. Thank you so much. All right. So you can see that it said here that they'll use pulp, tissue, PE film, hot melt gum, non-moving fabric, release belts, and packaging material. So these are the materials that they're going to use. They're going to use. So that's what I used also from the material. I came up with figures for those. So that will be our raw materials. And you can see that they also mentioned that they'll use sustainable packaging, which is also part of what? Part of the processes that they mentioned. Then the sanitary pads. Now they told us that what the operating capacity, capacity of the plant is that they can produce 500 pieces per minute. That means in 1 minute, that's in 60 seconds, they can produce 500 sanitary pads. And this one too, in a minute, they can produce 300 diapers. That's the capacity of the plant. Now, they said that to optimize the production, the facility will operate at 80% efficiency. That means what this is showing that what they're saying in this case now is that the company, the facility, that's the plant, can only operate at 80%. That means there'll be 20% downtime. Now let's bring you simple English. That English is too big. What they're saying in essence is that let's say it's 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock, they are supposed to work. But it's only 80% of that time. So they can only work from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock. That means 80%, the capacity they have is 100%. They can go 100%. But because of some maybe issues, maybe they have to put off the machines after some time. You know, maybe some machines cannot work for the entire hours. Maybe the laborers have to go on break. They didn't really specify why they have 20% downtime. That means 20% of the time they are not working, there's break. But 80% of the time there's work going on. That's what it means. And then the workers are working for double shift of 8 hours per day. That means what they're working 8 hours per day. But each person has double shifts. So it could be everybody, you have morning shift, you have night shift. So if you're working for double shift of 8 hours, that means what you're working for 16 hours. That means probably 8 hours in the morning, 8 hours in the evening. So you're working for double shifts of 8 hours. That means 8 hours for your first shift, 8 hours for your second shift. Now, then for 300 days annually, that means instead of the usual 365 days that we have in a year, they're telling you to use 300 days. So please always check it. They're telling you to use 300 days. Now, the initial investment, they say that they want to install technology. That technology they want to bring from China or whatever is 6.5 billion. Then they have other costs too, machines, building, and factory setup. No, they say that they have a plan, they have a land already. But it's not on the land they'll use now, they'll have to build something. So they'll use tools, the initial training for the workers. Remember that they said that the technology can be imported, but they have to teach their workforce, right? So in this case now, they have to train their workers. Then licenses and compliance costs too. Licenses and compliance costs, miscellaneous costs too. Then working capital. Now, in an MPV question, I have not even gotten there, but let me just say it. In an MPP question, when you have working capital is treated as an outflow in year zero, that's in the year zero, and is treated as an inflow in year like last year. So let's say now that in this case, now let's see how many years. We'll come back to this. Let's see how many years this product is lasting for 10 years. 10 years, right? So now let's say the product is lasting for 10 years. So in this case now, working capital would be for what? Will be in year zero and year one and year 10. Year zero and year 10. Year zero and year 10. So in year zero, it's be an outflow. Now, working capital is saying that the capital you use for your day-to-day runnings, your day-to-day runnings. So I want to just create a picture so that you understand. So let's say day-to-day you need maybe transport fare, day-to-day you need you're giving lunch to your workers. If any money they're using for your day-to-day operations, that's your working capital. So at the beginning of the project, the idea behind it is that at the beginning of the project, it will be an outflow. That means the money we're giving our laborers to as tea fare, the money we're giving our laborers for day-to-day lunch and all of that, that will be an outflow. But the idea behind it is that at the end of the project life, working capital will not be an inflow. That means what? We would have sold the products that the laborers have produced, we will have made money, and then we will have recovered that lunch money that we used, we will have recovered that transport money that we're giving them day to day. So working capital is an outflow in year zero and an inflow in the last year. This is SFM, it does not concern, I'm just teaching in case you are forgetting SFM. All right, so labor cost now. The labor cost is 500 naira per hour per hour. I remember that how many hours are they working for? 8 hours of double shift, that's 16 hours per day. That means 16 hours per day and 500 per hour would calculate all this. Just follow me through. To assist in reducing the high unemployment rate, the board has employed 2,000 laborers for this facility. 2,000 laborers for this facility. So remember that they talked about unemployment being a threat in the economy. All right. So in this case, now to assist in reducing that, they have decided that they will employ 2,000 people. And then general overheads is going to be 1.2 billion. Now, general overheads are not relevant. You will not use it for your calculation. The reason is because whether or not we take that decision, we will definitely incur it. Just like rent, whether or not you live in your house, if you like travel for 8 months out of 1 year, you will still pay 1 year rent. So general overheads are overheads that are not relevant. So if you have this, I put it here so that you can learn. If you have things like general overheads, corporate overheads, and the likes, you understand. So just know that ICANN is just trying to confuse you. Please don't use it in your calculation. For project, it's contribution you use. Contribution you use. So you remember that you have your sales, your variable cost, your sales minus your variable cost will give you your contribution, right? So it's your contribution that you're going to calculate. You understand? You're not going to use the figure for overhead at all. Please mute yourself. Thank you so much. Revenue projections. Now, the same is that the revenue is going to be 100 naira for sanitary pads and 150 for diapers. And then annual revenue is based on the production capacity. So to get the total revenue now, which is based on the production capacity. Because now, if they are saying that 100 naira per unit, how many units are they producing? You understand? That's something we'll check. Then the plant is expected to have an economic life of 10 years, and then they have decided to use 10% weighted average cost of capital. So when we see this, we know that definitely they're telling us to do MPV. Now, since we have read this now, before we even go to the second one, I want us to just quickly just scan through the solution that I did. We're going to read the solution one by one, but I just want to scan through it so that you will see what I meant. So I'm still going to share this materials to you. So you'll see what I meant by all those things that I just read. All those things I just read. So you can see now that they told us that the plant is operating at 80% working capacity, 80% efficiency of 8 hours per day, double shifts of 300 days annually. So for the sanitary plant now, once you get what is the capacity of the sanitary plant. So in this case now, that means what they are going to be working for 16 hours per day. Because if they are saying that 8 hours double shifts, that will be 8 hours for 2 shifts. That means each shift will be 8 hours. That means for the total number of hours they'll be working is what? 16 hours per day. But then in this case now, they gave us the information they gave us for the number of goods they are producing is 500 pieces per minute. Per minute. So if they're saying that they are giving us per minute, they're giving us number of hours per day, per hour, we have to convert. We have to convert. So this is what I mean by that. So now in this case now, they're telling us that 8 hours per shift times 2 shifts. You understand? That means what? What I'm saying now is that the total number of hours they're working is 16 hours per day. But now, how many minutes are in that hours? That means what? 16 hours per day times 60 minutes per hour. That means what? In a day, the company is working for what? 960 hours and minutes. So they have the capacity to work for 960 minutes. Because now, if the capacity of the plant is the workers can work for 16 hours, and then there are 60 minutes in an hour. The reason why we are bringing in minutes in this case is because the figure they gave us for the number of pieces, once you get the total number, for us to get the total revenue, we have to get the quantity. Because now in this case now, they gave us revenue and revenue per unit, labor per hour. So for us to get the total, we have to get the quantity. We have to get the quantity. So, and they gave us the number, the quantity per minute, but they gave us the number of hours they are working for per hour. So we cannot be using hour and minutes. We have to level ground. You understand? So we have to convert the number of hours to what? To minutes. So now in this case, now this is saying that if they are working for 16 hours in a day, and then there are 60 minutes in the hour per hour. That means what? They are working for 960 minutes in the day. That's the capacity the plant should have. But remember that they told us that it's only 80% capacity that they're actually using. So that means out of that 960 minutes available in the day to work, they're only working for 768 minutes. And what does this mean? This implies that production is ongoing for 768 minutes, but they have break for 192 minutes. That means what? They have downtime. They call it downtime. Downtime. So now, with this now, we know that, okay, the company now, they are working for 768 minutes in a day, right? And then how many pampers or pads in this case are they producing per day? They are producing 500 pieces of pampers per minute. That means every minute, every one minute, 500, 500, 500. Now, and if they are working for 768 minutes, that means what? For the entire day, they'll produce 384,000 pads. If you have questions, don't worry. I'll allow you to ask questions. Just follow me through. That means what? And if they are producing 384,000 pads per day, and they are working for 300 days in a year, that means what? Throughout the year, they are producing 115,200,000 pads in a year. Now, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we need the quantity. Now, we know that, okay, now it will be easy for us to calculate. We know that pads is 100 naira per unit. And now we know that they are producing what? 115,200,000 parts. So we can know that, okay, 150 million points, 150,200,000 times 100,000. Sorry, times 100 naira, because a unit is 100 naira. So what we're doing is we are trying to get the total number of units. I hope I'm not rushing. I hope you're able to get one or two. Now, for the diaper plant, the same thing applies. They have 16 hours in a day, but what is 60 minutes per hour. So that means what? They have capacity, they should have capacity of 960 minutes. But the company or the facility is operating at 80% efficiency. So if you want to ask a question, don't worry, there'll be time for question. You can just note it down. I'll allow you to ask a question. Thank you so much. All right. So now, there's not be me. There's this question. Oh. Now the question waiting for this place. So please follow me through. It's very, very possible that please do you have what okay, go on, please. Do you want to ask a question? You can note your question down, please. There'll be time for questions. Please mute yourself. Please, if you can hear me, once you can hear me, you can see me. Don't worry, just mute yourself. There'll be time for question after the discussion. Thank you so much. Don't worry, there'll be time for question. You understand very. If you don't understand, we are on the group. We can recap. Let's just because time is going actually. This is almost 10 o'clock. All right. So now the same thing applies too. They have capacity for 960 minutes, but they work for what? 768 minutes. That means what? They have 129 minutes. I just explained it again for diaper. So that means what? They will have 768 minutes, and per minute they are producing 300. That means what? For a day, they'll produce 230,400, and then they're working for 300 days. That means they'll produce 69,120 diapers per year. So this just helped us get the quantity they produce. And then the raw materials too, they gave us, they gave us raw materials here. The raw materials we put in a table, all these raw materials here for the we have for both sanitary pad and diapers. So I created a table for them and got the total cost per unit. And since we know the number of units, it's easy to just say the cost per unit multiplied by the total quantity. You understand? Which will give us the total cost for raw materials for pads and for diapers. And then this is the total raw material cost. And then the initial investments too. The initial investments that they gave us to will add everything up, and then it gave us 15 million. This is the initial investment here that they gave us here. This is the initial investment. So add it up. Now this will be our cost in year zero. Our cost in year zero. And then working capital, like I said, being year zero and year 10. Now for the labor cost now. One thing about labor is that whether or not there's a downtime, even if they're not working for 100% capacity, you still have to pay them. Is it the laborers that say you should give them break? Just like your boss in your company saying that I will not pay you for your break time. You will still pay me full salary at the end of the month now. So if they're saying that labor cost is 500 per hour and then they're working for 16 hours, that means what? They should actually collect what? They should collect 8,000 per day. They should collect 8,000 per day, because if the working hours is 16 hours, that means even if they're not working, they will still have to be at the factory for 16 hours in the day. And then they will pay them 500 per hour. That means what? They will get 8,000 per day. And then remember that they said that we have 300 working days, right? So that means what? For the entire year, they are paying each laborer 2.4 million. And then now they mentioned that they are going to employ 2,000 employees. 2,000 employees. So that means the labor cost will be 2.4 million times the total number of employees, which will give us 4.8 billion. And I also explained it said that you have to pay laborers. We actually broke it down. In fact, even if you are not really following me, I believe that when you see the material, you will get full clarity on what you drew. Then general overheads too are not considered because they are not relevant. Then we got the sanitary part, the revenue. Since we know the cost per one and we know the quantity, it's easy for us to get it. We'll just multiply it by the quantity. Then we get the total labor variable cost. Then total contribution will be the total revenue plus the minus the total variable cost, give your contribution, and then you use the contribution to calculate NPV. So I did a second scenario. Since the cash flows are the same per year, you can use what? You can use annuity factor. So I broke down in the material too how you use annuity factor. So don't worry, you can check the material. If you have questions, you can always ask, and I broke it down as much as possible. So it's going to be very, very clear when you check your material. So time is going. I don't want us to delay too much. Then the second project that we're given was for the biodegradable diapers, and they said that they have been successful in the production of pads and diapers, and government, just like we saw, is tending towards environmental pollution and emissions. They are becoming stricter, just like we saw earlier. And in line with their sustainability innovation, they now want to introduce what biodegradable diapers to reduce the effect on the environment. And like we saw, they said that they're going to produce them in full packs and in sachet. And then they're going to use the production plant in Lagos to produce, so they don't need to start up a new plant. And using the same information too, the capacity of the plant, and but in this case now, I included another one because in this place now, they only gave us the capacity for 300 for napkin, 300 for napkin, and 500 for sanitary pad, and 300 for napkin. So I just created a scenario that they will add biodegradable diapers, and then they'll just maybe put 400 capacity for biodegradable diapers. So they can just give you the same information. They might not necessarily give you NPV. They can tell you to do, like now in May 2024 diets, they told them to do limiting factor. And since I'm talking about limited resources, it's possible that they can give something like that. So the same information we have here. And then we have the costs table too for the three products. And then I tweaked it in two ways. So you have two options. The option one is a situation whereby it's labor hours that are limited. Option two is a situation whereby it is raw material that is limited. So any of that. It's still the same format, it's still the same way. Just tweaked it for you so that you can be very, very ready in case they ask anyone. And then say that the board is concerned that the plants may not have sufficient labor hours and they would like us to determine how many they should produce under the conditions. And then they have a purchase order from Nappy Nest. Nappy Nest is one of their distributors. So this is the purchase order. And then the second one now, I hope I'm not rushing. I hope I'm not rushing. I really hope I'm not rushing. Don't worry, you understand everything. Just get the materials. I broke it down as much as possible. Like I broke it down very, very simply so that you can understand it. I'm looking at time. I don't want us to exceed too much time. Then the government stopped the importation of raw materials to just like we said, and due to insecurity, they have limited amounts, just like we read, and then they can only get a maximum of 4,005 per year. And then this is the number that they should produce. Now, this is just an additional question. So I just came up with an EOQ question that okay, let's say because of the delivery and transport cost, the company needs to know how they should order, how they should supply. So this is not really part of the question. You can see that this is not part of the requirements. I just came up with it and added it. You could just assist your study just in case that they test it. So it's not part of it. So the solution too is in the solution document as well. So it's not part of it. I just came up with it so that it can assist your study. Then the solution to the biodegradable diapers. So I broke it down how you. So this is the format for limiting factor. The format for limiting factor. You first of all get your contribution per unit. After you get your contribution per unit, you get the hours needed and hours available. It is very clear. Don't worry. When you get the material, it is very, very clear. It's very, very clear. Then you get your hours needed. You get your hours needed and hours available. Then you get your shortfall, you get your contribution per limiting factor, and you rank the products and you allocate accordingly. Then this is the question. The question is how many should we produce? So this is the question. That means they should produce 300 of biodegradable diapers, 1,000 of sanitary pads, and 326 of this. So this is option A, assuming the limited factor is what is labor hours. Then I also gave option B too, where I explained broken down. Don't worry, it's in fact very, very detailed. It's very clear. The option B is where you have what limited material. The format still applies. The format still applies. It's still the same. It's still the same format that you would use to do limited labor hours and limited material. Then SWOT analysis. How you do a SWOT analysis? So you would draw it like this in the appendix. Then in the body of requirements 2, because it's under requirements 2, you would explain it as well. And then you have your supporting notes. So this is the additional material. This is the solution to the EOQ I said. It's not part of the requirements. I just added it so that you can just for your own study and the calculation as well. And then aside SWOT analysis, I just added pestle analysis because pestle analysis is also a model that they could test. Model that you could test, you understand? So I also added pestle analysis. You can just reach through in the material to get the material. All right, so now so that's all about the question. Let's just quickly go through the solution. Let's just scan through. I'm going to send the documents so you can read it one after the other. So disclaimer again, like I said, it has been thoroughly reviewed. In fact, it has been thoroughly reviewed. You understand? So and then the actual requirements may vary. So please note that. You understand? So I wish you success. You are the top. So this is the cover page where you have your to the board of directors. You can just form a title report on what they're asking you to do. Then prepared by Tafa Gambari, Director of Finance. Some people were asking, can we use prepared by the finance department? I would advise you to use Tafa Gambari, the finance director, because they did not really state it there. Fine, logically, if your Oga is finance director, logically it should be finance department you're working. But they did not like state it there 100% that oh everybody you're working in the finance department. So don't assume, just use the one that you're sure of. So because in the Ican study pack they said your boss or your department. So use the one you're sure of. And then you have your date. Know that they told us that we should submit in 2 weeks. That's 6 plus 14 is 20. So I just chose a date. 17, you can choose 18, but not more than 20, sha. Not more than 20. And we don't need a disclaimer here since this is an internal report. And don't forget to number your pages. So you can see now that this is page 1. So number, you don't need to put PAGE. You can just put 1, 2, 3. You understand? And you can see that just like the sheet will be pre-numbered by Ican, it will be pre-numbered by Ican, but you still need to number it. Marks are awarded for that. Please don't forget. Then you have your executive summary, which summarizes the body of a report. So in this case now, I use the combined method, the method of combining requirements 1 and 2. So you have your first paragraph, your ROAMS, where you talk about your requirements, you talk about your objectives, you talk about the assumptions, and then the methodologies. Everything is here, and then your skepticism, everything is here. Then the summary of the management account to how we reviewed it using the information that you have. So you can see now in the executive summary, you did not put grew from 5% to 10%, appendix 1. All those things should be in your body of a report. Don't put bracket appendix 1 here. No, don't put figure in executive summary. This is executive summary we are doing. Oh. It's not showing, it's not following. Can you see it now? Can you see it now? All right, you can see it. All right, thank you so much. Please mute yourself. Thank you. You can see it. Thank you so much. So now, okay, you know what? Let me try to. Okay, all right. So as I stopped sharing, I was okay. Is it my network call or the person that is talking English? Can you see it now? Um. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate. Thank you for staying with me, even though it has been long. Don't worry, we're almost done. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. So now, don't forget to. So have a heading. Marks marks are awarded for headings, please. Marks are awarded for headings. So you can have a heading, review of management accounts. Talk about, like I was saying, don't go and put in bracket appendix 1. No, do that in your body of your report, not in executive summary. So you can read it. It's very, very explanatory. Then talking about the Lagos plant to talked about it. Then the what the biodegradable diapers, and then conclusions and recommendations. You saw that I told you conclusions and recommendation is 20% of your grade. So please and please, I mean, I'm on my knees. Oh, all this is I'm saying is meaning that I'm not in Shakara. Oh. Please don't forget it. Okay, and don't forget to number your sheets as you are going. And if you don't know the difference between pages and leaves, I've done a video. Go and watch it, please, so that you can. I want you to get all the marks as much as possible. No grief I can or this diet. Then the introduction too as well, I included about the company, even though to me it does not make any sense. And it does not make any sense at all. But am I the one with the marking guide? No, the person that has the marking guide said do it. We will do it now. Abi, not be to collect mark and go. Like I said, it does not have to make sense. It has to make marks. You understand? So you can read it too using the format from ICA study pack, and then the body of the report too. So since we have different things, we did trend analysis where I explained it. In fact, it's very, very detailed. Like just sit down with it and read it. It's very, very detailed. Very, very detailed. Then the ratios too, where we did profitability for a manufacturing company. You can do profitability ratios, you can do liquidity ratios, you can do efficiency, talking about inventory turnover and the likes, and then you can also do what the leverage ratios. Then the revenue trend by product too. The revenue trend by product too. You can also do that as well too. They told us that we should highlight the ones that are doing well and the ones that need further management attention too. So we also did all that. And finally, included the conclusions and the what and the recommendations. The material is very detailed and very explanatory. I tried to use simple English, so I'm sure that it's very going to be very, very understanding. You're going to understand it. Then for the Lagos production plan too, where we explained everything, the calculations and all, and talking about the apart from the financial sides, so talking about the qualitative sides of the project, they're talking about the ethical issues too, the ethical issues that we saw. So you can see now includes undue pressure to achieve specific outcomes and what engaging in unethical business practice, just like we saw here, just like we saw here. So those are the ethical issues in this case. I talked about it. Then the financial viability as well of the project. Then conclusions and recommendations as well. Don't forget, keep numbering your sheets. You don't need to write PAG, but not write 10. Even though it's pre-numbered automatically by icon, just keep numbering. Then the biodegradable diapers too, where I talked about option A. So assuming that they gave you limited labor hours, how do you do it? Assuming they gave you limited material, how do you do it? Everything is very, very explanatory. Is explanatory. Then you know that under the biodegradable diapers, they also told us that we should use SWOT analysis to check it out. So I also use SWOT analysis. I You don't need to in the exam in this place now. I gave how many points? One, two, three, four, five, six. You don't need to write six. So you don't need to, in fact, three per category is okay, or three, four per category. The reason why I put six is that so that you can have enough to read, so that at least if you forget one, you can remember one, and also just to have enough to read. So I did for the SWOT analysis as well, so you can see it. Weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. All these are in the document, and I'll share them immediately we are done with the class. Then you can see that conclusions and recommendation for requirements two, you should cover everything. Cover the information on biodegradable diapers and cover the information on SWOT analysis. Because what the SWOT analysis was under what? Under requirements two. So you can read that too. And then you have your appendices where you have your trend analysis. So you can see that we did trend analysis. If you don't know the formula for trend, I actually put the formula here. You don't need to put the formula in your exam. And in your exam, you don't need to put 77 minus 30, 74 divided. You don't need to put that. Just put, you can only put 4.76, 4.76, 16.3. You don't need to put the way you calculated it. The reason why I did that in this place is so that you can study. How did you get 16.33? I cannot just tell you the answer is 16.33. This is a study material. So that's why I put the calculation here. But in your own exam, and if you put it, it's fine. It's not like if you put it, you will fail. Oh, no. But if you don't want to put it, it's fine. It's based on your own decision. But the reason why I put it here is to aid your study so that you know how I derived those figures. And then the profitability ratios too. So please, the reason why I actually advise students to put the column for formula is because the limitation of ratio analysis is that more than one formula can be suitable for a particular ratio. Like now, some people will argue now that return on capital employed should not be operating profit. Some people will argue that it should be profit after tax. And the sad thing is that they have not yet said that like there's no final decision on ratios. So put your formula. So in case peradventure, but I tried to use the formulas that Ican used in their pathfinder. And let's say in case the marking guide is, for instance, using profit after tax, and the figure now is 13, 16, 19 with operating profit. Maybe that one is 20, 25, 26. So that this student did not do it well. Oh, the reason is because she used the second suitable formula so that they would know. And like I said, you don't need to put all this divided by, you can just put your final figure. I put it there to aid your study. Then these are the ratios as well. And I also explained, I said from the manufacturing account for your ratio, you can do average inventory, like for your inventory days, you can use average inventory since we have the opening and the closing. So I explained how I got the figures, I broke everything. You can see that it's very, very detailed. When you have the material and sit with it, you are good to go. You are good to go. You are good to go. All right. So and this is the trend analysis for the products. You know, they said that we should tell them which products are doing well and which one is not doing well. This is the trend analysis for it. Then, just like I was explaining the appendix for the Lagos plant, we looked at this briefly earlier, and then the one for the what the biodegradable diapers as well, using assuming there's limited resources for labor and assuming there's my material. So I just tweaked the question. I'm just trying as much as possible to give you different options so that anyone they ask you be good to go. Then the SWOT analysis as well. Then the additional EOQ that I gave is not part of the requirement. I just added it just in case they ask you anything related to EOQ because we're talking about ordering, we're talking about transport costs, fuel prices. So this is the solution to that. I just added it so that to assist your study. So I broke it down. Consider if they ask you, you don't need to do all this. Like now, my own is step 1 to is it 14 now? You don't need to do step 1 to 14, no. But it's because I want you to understand it when you are studying. You understand? That's why I broke it down as much as possible so that it will be very, very well detailed. And then the personal analysis, you don't need to mention too many. I just put as much as possible so that you can have options when you are reading. All right, so that's pretty much about it. So now, the final words I have for you is that remember that you have to have the right mindset. I've had students over time that they said that they were scared and that's why they could not write anything. But I had a friend that did not write anything in a performance management exam because she was like the moment she entered, it was fear. Like she could not it took like 1 hour before she could get herself. You understand? So please go with confidence because you know that Jesus is backing you up, like God is there with you. So have the right mindset, believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, and enter the exam and crush it. I'm always praying. If you see me praying for my students, you think that I'm praying for my family members. Because yes, your family too. So I wish you success in advance. Please share your testimonies and dear waiting to hear from you. All right, so this is going to be all about the class. So if you have any question, time has gone, but let's just take maybe like 10 minutes for questions and then we would go into the group to continue our question because I don't want to let this video be too long so that we can go. All right, so I don't know if anybody has asked any question previously. Let's just take questions till like what's the time now? Let's say till 10:20. If you want to ask a question, please raise your hand. I would um come to you. Okay, Eniola, can you please ask a question? You can ask the question. Eniola, I can see you raising your hand. Yeah, good evening. Okay, yes, yes. You are muted. Somebody mute everybody again. Eniola, can you unmute and continue? Sorry. Okay, will you be ready? Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, I understand. Yes, yes. Yes, you're very correct. Yes, you can actually do that. Why? Because remember that this report is written by Matthew, but Matthew will still first submit the report to Tafa. Tafa will still assess it before what? Before he now submits it to the board, right? So you can use a date like that. That's a very brilliant one. You can use that. Well done. All right. I can see who's this. Faith, can you please ask your question? Faith Oluwaniyi. All right. Hello. Good evening. Yes, I can hear you. You too. Yeah, very good. Thank you for that question. Now, the thing is that I always say everything that you're not sure of, let I can be your final guide. Throughout that, in fact, there was a particular day I took it upon myself. I checked that study pack. I said, "Oh yeah, where is signature in this study pack?" And I did not find it. So I will not say it's wrong to do that, but I'll say it's not necessary because according to ICAN study pack, there was nowhere like I was really, really looking for it. There was nowhere that they tested anything or they said you should do anything that required you to um, sign. So while it's not wrong, it's not necessary because according to ICAN study pack, they didn't put it there. It's not wrong, but it's not necessary. Yeah. All right. Blessing. All right, Blessing. Can you ask a question? If you don't know how to use, sorry, listen, can you give me a moment? Sorry, please, one moment, please. If you don't know how to raise your hand, somebody say, I just type your question. We'll just pick one of the questions from there, then we'll go to the group to continue. All right, listen, go on, please. Yes. Wow, that's a brilliant question. Now, what I would advise is that there's some income statements that are bulky. Like now, let's say they give you an income statement that is statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income. That would be long. You cannot do trend on everything. So most times, looking at icon pack, most times they'll stop at profit before tax. So you cannot stop at profit before tax. Most times that's where they stop. And if it's not a complicated income statement, they will just take it a step further to do finance costs and then do profits after tax. Well, you can just stop before profit before tax. Then you said, I think that's your first question. Sorry, I didn't. What's your first question again? Yes, yes, and yes, yes, because you will need things for gross margin. Yes, no, you need your ratios. Like now, for instance, profitability ratio. You need your gross profit, you need your margin, that's your revenue, and it's in income statement. For operating profit to margin ratio, for instance, you need your operating profit, you need your revenue, and all of them are income statements. So yes, you can use your income statements for both trends and both ratios. All right. Tomen, can you go ahead? So we'll just take questions for a little more time, then just Tomen, you can go ahead. Yes, good evening. Okay, well done. Yes, I get your question. Very good. Well done now. Like I said, using November 2019 diet, that was the one that I said is like very, very similar in almost everything to DEFCON. Now, the answer to that question is in November 2019 diet, in the marking guide, did they put all those things? The answer is yes. So now, if that is our reference point, because now, okay, now this one now we can say we assume we are not sure. At least something similar has been tested before, and then how did they mark it? So if they did it in that place, then yes, we should do it in this place. So like I said, sometimes it does not make sense, but is that what I can want? Then we should do it. So yes, all right. Well done. Chidi Okore, please can you ask your question? So I'm just going to take questions a bit. I'll just probably take this last hand, then I would attend to one or two in the distance. Chidi Okore, you are raising your hand, or are you good? I'll just take one or two in the good evening. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, all right. I think somebody who asked that question just now, like I said, throughout ICAN study pack, there was no way that they said anything like do this. You understand? There's no way that they said anything like signature. So while I would say it is not wrong, I will not say if you do it you will fail. No. You understand? But I would say that what that is not necessary. It's not necessary. Even if you want to do all that, ensure that you have done all the necessary things and you are sure that okay, yes, so this one will give me marks. So you understand before you do any other thing. So according to ICANN, it's not necessary. In their study pack, there was no way they said it. There was no way they said it. All right. So should I choose a page? All right. Thank you so much. Should I choose a page for my assignment? A page. Yes, my you can assign it on one page. That's your assignment on one page. All right. Let's take one more question from here. Please would. Hey, I'm sorry. Time has gone. I don't want the meeting to be so long. All right. Matthew, can you please raise? You have so many hands. Matthew, can you please raise your hand? I'll just take maybe one or two more, and then we'll go to the group and continue. You know how we do now. All right. Matthew, please ask your question. After Matthew, I'll take one more. And then please, if you ask a question in the chat box, there are so many, please. You can just find that name and put it on the group. I will appreciate it. Those in the chat box, sorry, please go to the group. I'll attend to you. Thank you. All right. Matthew, please go ahead. And after that, yeah, please. Yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening, Mr. Matthew. Yes, good evening. I can hear you. Please go on. Thank you. Okay. Yes, you are cracking, but I think what you're saying is, would the materials be available? Yes, and yes, 100%. In fact, immediately while leaving this call, I'm dropping the materials on the group. So yes, they will be available. They'll be available. Thank you. BO unverified. BO. I don't know. Please, can you ask a question? After this, I'll take one more and then we'll wrap up. BO, can you ask your question, please? Good evening. Good evening. Yes. Yes. Okay. Like putting subheadings in your report. No, just put it in paragraph. In a paragraph is okay. Then that's for the SWOT analysis. You said, sorry, can you repeat that for SWOT analysis again? Like, okay, yes. So, yeah, very good. So, since the SWOT analysis was under requirement two, you understand? So just draw it in the requirement in the appendix, just like we did, and in the body of your report, just like we did, like I showed you. Then you explain it. You understand? The body of your report explain it. All right, thank you. So the last question I will take is TY unverified. Please, those in the chat box, sorry, please just help me summarize the question and then put it in the comment box. TY unverified will be the last question we will take. If you have any other question I can't take, sorry, please just send to the group. All right. Good evening. Yes. Good evening. I can hear you. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So personally, I am of the opinion that that does not make any sense at all. Like I was explaining, you cannot be telling a company about the company that they built by themselves. It does not make any sense. You understand? But they said that what, according to Ican study pack, which is the manual we are following for writing Ican case study exam, they said include the background of the company. And unlike the cover page where they differentiated that okay, cover page for internal do it like this, cover page for external do it like this. Under the introduction, they didn't differentiate. They said this is the way introduction should be. So that means what? Whether internal, whether external, puts background of the company, even though it does not make sense. Like I said, it does not have to make sense. It just has to make marks. Is it going to give you marks? Yes. Is it making sense? No. Let's just do it. So according to Icon. All right, so that's it. Okay, no problem. Okay, non-executive director. Yes, yes. Very correct. Very correct. Out of six, that means four. So if four vote yes, two vote no. Well, depending on their if they have percentage of shares. Sha. If four say we are going left and two say no, it's still like he's still useless. He's still very small according to them. It's still useless. All right, so this is where I'm going to stop for today. This is where I'm going to stop for. Please, if I could not take your question, I'm very sorry. Please, let's go to the group page. I know that there'll be a lot of questions, only if I can answer all of them tonight because it's been a long class. I will definitely answer. You know how we work now. So if you ask a question in the chat box too, and I did not attend to it, please just ensure that you go to the group and then I'll be there to attend to your question. All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for choosing Synopsis of Icon Academy. We are still together until the exam day. I'll release the materials now to the group. And then it will take a while to release the video because I have to combine everything and ensure it is in the right order so that you can have it completely. All right, thank you so much. So have a good evening and I wish you success in your exam. Please don't forget to yes, thank you so much everyone. Those that are chatting on the in the chat box, you can continue in the group. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate. I appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Share your testimony. Oh, I'm waiting for testimonies. Oh, testimonies. Share your testimonies. Oh, yes, yes, I will. All right. See you on the group. Bye, everyone. I'm dropping the materials right away. But the video, I'll have to join them together, so it will take a little while. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I'm dropping the both the link to the video and the materials, the two of them. The two of them. All right. Bye.